Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very special Horrible Gamers podcast show. This is not a show number because this is just a special show. It's a Spoilercast show. Yeah! Fuck yeah! We're going to do a Spoilercast today, ladies and gentlemen, for Red Dead Redemption 2. So if you haven't played this game or you want to finish it or whatever the hell you want to do, I suggest you don't listen to this if you don't want anything spoiled for you, because we're going to talk about everything that we experienced in the game. So today, of course, there's me, Jesus Walkslight is my gamer tag, and I have two special guests with me today. First off, from the West Coast, the best coast, my friend, sort of, acquaintance, Evan Tanaka.
Yo, what's up? West Coast, best coast.
Welcome, Evan, welcome. That's right. And from Alabama, down yonder.
Oh, yeah.
Alyssa White.
Woo! Also known as Iams' girlfriend a lot.
Yep. Iams' girlfriend is how we refer to her sometimes.
In every video description I've ever been in, it's Iams' girlfriend.
Iams' girlfriend. Welcome.
Like, you can't even put my name.
Welcome, Alyssa. Thank you guys for joining me today to talk
Thank you
about
for having me on.
Red Dead. Yeah, definitely.
I had a choice?
No, not really. I kind of forced you to do this.
Okay.
Did you pull a hostage situation with Devin?
I did.
I was hogtied.
It was hogtied. Whoa.
That goes with the Red Dead team.
He's going to leave me on the tracks. And I told him, I'll do anything. And he's like, you're going to record this podcast with me tomorrow. I'm like, okay.
I feel like Jesus has the low end of the honor scale.
Oh, shit. Oh, damn. All right, so let's talk about Red Dead. So, of course, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a game that came out this year.
What's
made
that?
by Rockstar. It's a prequel to Red Dead Redemption, the first one, which came out in 2010 or 2009? One of those years.
One of those years.
Which is
It's during the 360 PS3 era, so...
Yeah, which is a sequel to Red Dead Revolver, which is a sequel to... Wasn't it just Red Dead?
I thought Red Dead Revolver was the first one.
Was it? Am I confusing it with another game? What's that other game?
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Anyways, let's talk about Red Dead. So you start off, first off, you're in the mountains, whatever. You know, you're going through the mountains. Something went bad in Blackwater. Goddamn Micah.
Micah Bell.
Micah had to ruin everything back there. So you're going through the mountains, you're in the snowy area, and then all of a sudden, you know, you meet Arthur and Dutch and all the guys, and you start recognizing some people, you know, like you recognize Dutch, of course, if you played the first Red Dead. And then, you know, you start seeing all these faces, like Javier Escuela and all these other guys. And you're up there, you know. And what I thought was really cool about that part was how they introduced what's that fucker's name? John Marston.
Yeah.
Where you have to go rescue him off the side of this cliff. He's out there. He's been attacked by like wolves or something. Was it wolves that he was attacked by?
Yeah.
So
It was like 3 wolves or something.
Yeah. Then he's like, "Oh, help me, Arthur." So you go and help him, and then you know his face is all messed up. So you kind of realize like, "Oh shit, I recognize that scar. I recognize that scar right there." And then that voice actor did a pretty good job, you know, with the voice of John Marston. He made him sound a little bit younger than what he sounded like in Red Dead Redemption. I thought he did a good job with it. And anyways, you play with them, you know, and you go and you leave. But right there in that moment, you kind of realize right away that Arthur and John don't like each other, right? You realize like,
Oh, yeah.
these guys kind of don't like each other. Because apparently John left the gang for, I don't know, how long did they say? Was it 6 months or a year or something like that?
I thought it was like a year or something.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's been so long since I played the beginning of Red Dead Redemption 2, but it was a while.
Yeah, and Arthur keeps mentioning to Dutch, like, why are we rescuing this fucking guy? He left the gang for a fucking year. He didn't tell nobody where he went. He left his wife with us and his fucking kid. Like, what are we doing helping this guy? You know, he's a piece of shit. Like, we shouldn't be helping him.
Arthur
Anyways,
the babysitter.
because of loyalty. Because of loyalty. Anyways.
They set that up really good because when you start off, you're playing as Arthur, and then you're kind of like, when they introduce John, you're like, oh man, fuck this John guy, you know. But they didn't. They did a good job of, you know, since John was all of the first one, it's like you already know kind of about John. So I think they set it up good to where, you know, they start you off where, you know, you're like, man, it's showing you that Arthur doesn't like this dude. He's not too keen on him, and then, you know, stuff changes down the line. But I thought they set that up good.
They did a really good job with that. I agree. I feel like John is a really hated character, probably from everybody that played the game. They probably don't like John off the bat. But yeah, we all know where his story ends up in the second, and we're in the first game. I keep saying the second game. This is a sequel to this one, but whatever. Anyways, you end up leaving that place. You end up going down to, I forget what that area is called.
Strawberry?
No, it's near Valentine.
Okay.
Isn't it like Horseshoe Overlook or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
The area is called.
Yeah.
You end up going down there, and you end up setting up camp. And you're down there with the gang, and you meet you start meeting the rest of the gang, which is like you meet Miss O'Shea, Tilly, and all these other people that are just kind of part of this gang. And then what I thought, you know, was really cool how it was when they the way they introduced every character, they kind of made you do a mission with them or mission for them or with them or about them. And one of the people that I thought was interesting, which I never really kind of liked him, but I thought he was really interesting being a part of the gang, was that Herr Strauss or whatever, that German guy. Mr. Strauss.
Leopold Strauss.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that guy. Everybody called him Strauss.
Herr Strauss.
Yeah, the German dude who wasn't he like the accountant for the group or something, like the banker or whatever the fuck?
Yeah.
Kinda, and he wanted you to collect all the debts.
Yeah, he's like a loan shark.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And that guy was pretty interesting when you first meet him. You're like, oh, I got to collect some debts. All right, get to beat some people up. And that was pretty cool. I mean, and then one of the first missions you play in the game is when you head down to town, and it's actually probably the first mission you play when you leave that camp in the mountains is when you head down to town with the girls. I think it's Miss O'Shea, Tilly, and that other chick.
Molly?
Was it Molly?
Oh,
Molly.
No.
Molly's O'Shea. There's Miss Grimshaw.
I think it was Miss
Molly.
Grimshaw, the drunk girl, right? That's the drunk girl,
Yeah.
right? Miss Grimshaw.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's, I think it was Tilly. So yeah, I think them three go with you, and I think it's Bill. And you guys down at the bar, and you're just hanging out there drinking and shit. And then all of a sudden, I think it was Bill that walks into the bar, and he just starts a fucking fight. Like a fucking fight breaks out, and you're like, holy shit. And you start fighting people, and I thought the combat felt pretty good. And when you get into hand-to-hand combat in the game, I've always felt like it made the punches feel like they have some weight to them. Like it feels like a real fight almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of video games, the fighting is very quick, very fluid. Like, you're real quick. And in this game, it almost felt like you were kind of coordinating a movie, like a fight scene almost, when you're fighting with people hand to hand. Especially the way the camera zooms in on you and all that good stuff. I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, and you have to block their attacks and dodge and everything. So, adds a little bit of strategy to it.
That dude whooped my ass, though, that first guy, that big dude. He whooped my ass. I don't know about you, but I had a hard time fighting that dude for a bit. And then finally, in the end, I was able to get on top of him and beat him or whatever. But that was tough at first, because I was like, oh, damn, this dude is just whooping my ass. Like, Arthur has no chance against this guy. He's like twice his size. He's just whooping you, kicking you on the ground. It was crazy.
I don't think the game even tells you how to fight him. You just have to push the buttons and figure out which one does what.
Yeah, you're just kind of like mashing X, mashing Y, mashing trigger. You're like, what the fuck do I do? Pull out your gun, Arthur.
Like, nope, can't use your gun right now.
Yeah.
Gotta fight with your fists.
Yeah, I mean, that's when they introduced that big dude, and then, you know, then Bill was all... That's when you realize, like, Bill always fucks up everything he does. All his plans are just screwed up from the get-go. They're just like, this, every time I did a mission with him, I was thinking to myself, like, all right, we got this huge, thought-out plan, but Bill is going to fuck it up somehow. Like he didn't think of something.
I was just rolling my eyes every time. Every time Bill talks, I'm just like, all right, here we go again.
Yeah, fuck, Bill. Okay, we're going to go rob this fucking bank because you say so. And you say it's a good score. Let's go rob this fucking bank. Yeah, that guy is a fucking piece of work. And then, back at the camp, you have that one dude tied up, that O'Driscoll fellow. What was his name? Kieran?
Yeah, Kieran.
You got him tied up on the tree and shit, and every morning you walk by him, you can talk shit to him.
He's like, just give me some food.
He's like, give me some food, I don't want to
die. You're like, shut up.
Yeah, that was fucking crazy. Yeah, I thought that was interesting how they treated him for a while there. And then, yeah. So, I mean, during this whole part of the game, it's when I feel like a lot of people probably fell off of the game because it just was very kind of slow. It's when you realize how slow the pacing of the game was. And I feel like a lot of people this is probably where they kind of stopped playing the game, was in this first area of the map, which I highly suggest if you stop playing in this first area of the map, go back and keep playing the damn game. Just play the story missions, just go that route. Play all the yellow missions.
It's such a shame, though, because, like, definitely, because I remember I got home from work, and it was like, Red Dead had just came out, so I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, Red Dead, and then, so I was a little tired, but I was still excited, and I was like, all right, I'm going to stay up all night. And so I did. I stayed up all night playing it, but it was so slow, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I wish it wasn't so slow.
Yeah.
Because it was just dragging on at parts, but it took me a while to realize that I think it was necessary to be that slow because you learn so much stuff, like how your camp works and like all the controls, and like you kind of get that general feel for, and I think they set it up that way, going forward in the story missions, you like fully know what's going on, because I think it would be frustrating if you're playing missions and you're still trying to figure out what the hell to do. So I think it was necessary, but it was a little slow.
Yeah.
It was slow at the beginning.
Yeah, that first part. I remember when the game first came out and it was up in the snow area, dude, I fell asleep. I fucking passed out because I had woke up early that morning and then I was ready. I'm going to stay up all night. And it didn't fucking work out. I didn't stay up all night.
Yeah, I remember you posting something about buying a bunch of energy drinks to stay up all night to play it.
Yeah. Nope. Didn't work out. I bought the energy drinks, but I couldn't even drink them because I was so tired. And I just got bored and I crashed. But I remember something we kind of skipped over in that first part was where you meet that, isn't it Sadie that you meet?
Yeah, Sadie.
In that farm in the north, in the snow area where her husband's been killed and the O'Driscolls are up there and you kind of rescue her or whatever. And
you kind of rescue her, but you also, not you directly, but I don't know who it was, but somebody knocked over a lantern and burned her house down. So I was
Wasn't it Micah?
Yeah. It might have been. It was either Micah or it might have been Bill.
I think it was Micah, because I think it was you, Dutch, and Micah that went to that mission.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Fucking Micah.
Hate Micah.
Fucking Micah, man. But yeah, that's where you meet Sadie, and she's kind of like this scared girl or whatever, She's scared because her husband's just been killed by these guys or whatever. They kind of had her kidnapped. And then you show up, and you're another gang, and she's like, fuck you guys. You guys are a bunch of criminals. I'm not going to trust you. But that's where you notice that, like, Dutch's gang is a gang, of course. They're criminals, but they're, like, good criminals. Kind of. You know what I mean? They have, like, morals. They'll help you if they want to. If you need help, they'll help you.
That's how you start off, at least.
But then you don't screw them over because they'll come after you or whatever, you know what I mean? Or they'll use you for something. And
yeah.
So, yeah, we play the first part of the game, which, for the most part, is kind of a tutorial area. And then that's when you go to Strawberry to bust out, who is it, Micah or something? But before that, it's in Strawberry.
I thought he was in Blackwater. You had to go all the way back down there because you're wanted, but you have to go break him out.
No. But before that, because after you do that bar mission or whatever, right? When we were talking about before, that's when Lenny shows up running into camp. And he's fucking screaming.
Right.
And he's screaming.
Oh, yeah,
he's all
yeah.
freaked out. He's like, fuck. And you're like, and the Dutch is like, what the fuck's going on? And he's like, they caught fucking Micah. They got Micah. And he's like, where'd they get him at? And he's like, Strawberry. What the fuck were you guys doing in Strawberry? And they're like, we were just hanging out doing some mission or scouting something. And they got Micah, you know. And then that's when Dutch is like, all right, Arthur. Go and take Lenny down to the bar. And you go down to the bar.
I love that mission.
And this is probably this is the mission where I was like, yes, this is the game I want to play. Because Lenny's like, all right, Arthur, we're going to just take one drink, right? Yeah, just one drink. Don't worry, Lenny. We'll just drink one and we'll come right back, you know. We'll go get Micah right after this. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're fucking wasted. You're just like drunk out of your fucking mind, dude. You're just fucking, Lenny.
Yeah, you have to pull a heavy rain and do Lenny.
Yeah, it's totally a heavy rain moment. Yeah, Lenny, fucking screaming Lenny at the bar.
I liked when you're playing and as you get more drunk, the words start getting garbled on the screen, so you can't even read them. Yeah. So you're just pressing a button like, what am I saying? I don't know.
Like Larry, I think he says Larry for one or Lemmy for another one.
Yeah.
You see my friend? Get away from me. And everybody's like kind of pushing you away from them. Like, oh, you see my friend? I'm looking for Lenny. And then all of a sudden you fucking, where was it? You end up outside taking a piss, right? Oh no, right before you take a piss, isn't that when you go upstairs and you're just walking kind of upstairs and then you're fucking drunk out of your mind? And then you end up going back downstairs because for some reason you just end up going back downstairs and all of a sudden like, you're like, Lenny! And one of the guys is like, shut up! And you're like, what? He's like, you heard me. I said, shut the fuck up. And you're like, you talking to me? And the guy's like, yeah, I'm talking to you. And then Arthur's like, oh, yeah, really? You're a fucking idiot. And then the guy's like, you know who you're talking to? And Arthur's like, yeah, I'm talking to you. And then it looks like a fight's about to break out. Then all of a sudden, everyone's just fucking dancing, and the music is fucking going, and everyone's dancing, and oh man, that whole scene is so perfectly set up. And then you go outside, you take a piss, you fucking peeing for fucking ever, it seems like, and then you find Lenny again, then you end up trying to drown somebody. You end up in a slap fight with Lenny.
Yeah.
You and Lenny keep slapping each other. And what I thought was pretty hilarious is when everybody's faces turn to Lenny's.
Yeah.
You're like, what
even
the fuck
the
is
women.
going on? Yeah, like even the ladies are looking like they look like fucking Lenny. And during that scene, there's a moment where when everybody's faces are changing, you can walk into a room that's upstairs. And there's two people going at it or whatever, you know, they're having sex and then fucking, but both of their faces look like Lenny. So Arthur's like, what the fuck? Arthur kind of freaks out. He's like, oh shit, I wish I didn't see that. It's fucking hilarious though. Because, you know, they both kind of look at you or whatever. And it's like, Lenny is both of them. You're like, what the fuck? It's fucking funny. Oh man, that whole mission was probably one of the most memorable missions I've probably ever played. It's just funny. It's just a memory. You know what I mean? I'm always probably gonna remember that mission from that game. It was just so good.
Yeah.
So that was so original.
It was. I never felt like how I really felt when I've been super drunk. Like I've been that drunk before, where I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and it's just, that's probably almost exactly how it feels. You know what I mean? You're just like seeing shit. You're just fucking stumbling everywhere. And then at the end, when the law shows up and you take off running and Lenny goes one way and you go the other, fucking, you'll never take me alive. You're just fucking running. I ended up getting caught during that mission, but there's two ways it can play out. You could actually end up outrunning the cops in that mission. I don't know what you guys did. I ended up getting caught.
I don't think I got caught. I'm pretty sure I somehow outran them. Like, it was something weird because I didn't I didn't really try that hard. I think I just jumped over something and then like they couldn't get around it. So, and then it just ended like that. So I was like, huh, okay.
When I woke up after that mission, I woke up in a jail cell with Lenny. I was in a jail cell and Lenny was in a jail cell.
Yeah, I woke up in a field. So.
Yeah, and then
I woke up in the field too.
That's crazy. Yeah, me and Lenny were in a jail cell, and then the sheriff or whatever, the jailer, comes over and he's like, "You boys had enough for one night?" And Arthur's like, "What the fuck happened?" And Lenny's like, "How the hell did we end up here? I thought you said one drink, Arthur." And then Lenny ends up paying I think it was like $5 or $10 or something to get us out of jail, because the jailer's like, "All right, $10 and you're out." So he ends up paying him like $10, and then we get out. And then as soon as we get out, Lenny just starts fucking puking everywhere on the street.
He's like, "I'm never drinking again."
But that whole mission was fine. It's just so much fun. I love that mission. It brings like a smile to my face because it's just so funny. It's so well done. And I just had fun playing it. But then after that, just when you go and you find Micah or whatever at the bar, at the jail in Strawberry. And you have to bust him out of jail.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what do you guys thought? Let me hear your thoughts on this mission, because we all know how it played out.
Right.
So, what you think?
Well, go ahead.
I was like, this mission made me a little angry because I'm like, stupid Micah! Because as soon as you break him out, the whole town, you're wanted dead or alive. And it's like, you have to kill, like, everyone in the town, basically, to get out. I'm like, no!
Yeah.
No, Micah!
I don't know. It was like, at this point in the game, I was still confused on who everybody is. So, like, I'm just doing the mission, and, like, I'm like, all right, I got to break this dude out. Like, didn't really put it together, like, you know, Mike is in jail. Because I didn't really know, like, because you get introduced to so many characters. And so I was, you know, for the first half of the game, I was, like, didn't even know what I was doing. I'm just doing all these missions, and I'm, like, just doing them, not really, like, putting two and two together with, like, who I'm doing what for. But, yeah. So you, like, what do? You hook up his, like, the bars on the wall to, like, it was like some steam engine or something.
Yeah.
And, like, you're making a bunch of noise, and I'm like, damn, like, isn't everybody going to hear me? Like, I'm supposed to do this quiet.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole idea of that is as soon as you bust them out, you guys are going to ride out there on your horses and outrun everybody. But
right.
That wasn't.
Then he gets a brilliant idea to start shooting people, and the whole town's like, "Oh,
he tells you he needs to get something. He's like, I need to get something, and you're like, what the fuck are you getting? You're like, what's so important that we have to kill 50 people to get to? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I thought, and then at the end of the day, when he goes into that house and you see him shoot like the lady and the guy inside the house, I felt bad, dude. I'm like, fuck, this is horrible.
Yeah, because that was not. I mean, you already feel bad, like. All right, you bust out, and, like, you know, you could probably justify killing some, like, you know, some policemen or something, but it's like the whole town was like, hey, everybody's shooting at you, and you're killing, your death count is, like, racking up pretty high, and, like, your honor's just like, ding, 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 like, going down.
Yeah.
And then he says that, and it's just like, they weren't doing anything, and then he just shoots him for, what was it, his guns, right?
Yeah, his guns. His 2 guns or whatever. That's all he wanted back, his 2 guns. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you just shot a lady and her husband in their home when they weren't even, like, trying to do nothing to you over some fucking guns. Like, fuck, this is a cold-hearted motherfucker. But as soon as that happens, you end up with, like, a huge bounty in Strawberry, so you can't really go back there for a long time until you pay it off.
Mm-hmm.
Because that bounty is like, what, like $200-something? And you have like $2 in your wallet?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, never going back to that town ever again.
Yeah.
So
and at the end of the mission, he gives you your holster so you can dual wield stuff.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, I guess.
But it's like, not worth it.
Was it worth it? Yeah.
No.
It's like... Killed 100 people, but I got a gun holster.
Woo! Yeah, that was pretty rough. And then later on, you know, that's when you do the next missions, or the next few missions that I did, One was where you end up going to this guy's house to collect the debt, and Strauss tells you this guy hasn't paid up. You got to go make him pay.
Mm-hmm.
He might be not trying to pay, and then I quickly realized that the dude was sick. He was really sick. He was like fucking super sick. He was farming, and he's like, "Oh, look, man, I'm sick. I'll get your money. I'm just trying to work. I've been trying to get some work going. I can't fucking work. I'm trying to get this done." And Arthur just starts beating him like bad. Like he fucking beats the shit out of him. And you have no control over that because Arthur just kind of does it in a cutscene. He just starts kicking him and like punching him in the face and kicking him in the face.
And he's just like farming the whole time, right?
The dude is just like farming, and Arthur's just beating like the fuck out of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And his wife comes on and she's screaming at you to stop, and Arthur's like, "Give me my money." And the dude spits up, he ends up coughing up blood on your face. And that's unfortunately when Arthur ends up getting sick with TB, tuberculosis. Mm-hmm. And because that's what the dude had. And, I didn't put that together, and of course, until the end of the game. I was like, where the fuck did Arthur get sick? And this is where he got sick, unfortunately, and you can't stop him from beating the dude. I thought that you can go back and, like, maybe change the outcome if you didn't beat the guy. But you can't. Huh. You can't do that. It's like part of the cutscene. He just starts beating him up. It's like one of the few cutscenes where you have no choice in how that's going to play out. It just starts doing it, and then you have no choice.
I didn't even realize that's where you get tuberculosis in the game from until just now.
I didn't realize that until I think my brother told me, because my brother beat the game maybe a week or two ago. He finally finished all the game, and he told me, I forget why he told me, but he was like, "Oh, did you know because he was telling me about the ending missions with what's her name, the wife or whatever, I forget her name, but he was telling me like, oh yeah, that's you get sick from when you beat up her husband in the beginning. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up, and then of course you beat the hell out of him, and the wife tells you to leave him alone, and Arthur's like, give me my money. So then you kind of leave him, and you kind of hope that they pay up, because you told them you're going to come back and kill him if they don't. And then, so then, after that mission, what I did was that Micah mission and all these other little missions where, like, you and Micah go and rob that station wagon or whatever for the bank. And that's when you and Micah get kind of set up, where somehow there's like 50 dudes that show up, try to rob you for the wagon. And I think those are the O'Driscolls. Isn't that the O'Driscolls that show up, or is it somebody else?
I think it was the O'Driscolls. Yeah,
they kind of show up, and they're like, hey, we're here to take your fucking wagon from you. And you and Micah end up in a huge shootout with them on the river. And that was pretty cool. At that moment, I don't know if I liked Micah or not. I think I probably didn't think much of him. I probably thought that he was a piece of shit, but just like John, he's still part of the gang, so whatever. Mm. And I don't think at that point Micah was against you, yet. Because at the end of the game, we all know that he turns against you. But in this moment, I don't think he was against you. I think he was kind of just whatever. But I wonder if he set you up. Because it seems very convenient that all of a sudden a bunch of O'Driscolls showed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just you and him, and all of a sudden a bunch of O'Driscolls showed up. And we all know Micah doesn't like Arthur because Dutch has a lot of praise for Arthur. He treats Arthur like his son almost. So it's like, I wonder if Micah was trying to get Arthur killed in that mission.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
That's interesting, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. Anyways, after that, the lady shows up, pays the debt for her husband. That one lady that you said, Evan, the dude's wife that you brought up earlier. She showed up, pays you the debt, and then she tells you, that to me happened in the morning after I went to camp and I slept and I woke up. That's when that happened for me. She kind of showed up in the morning. She was walking up to the Strauss or whatever on a table. She's like, here's your fucking money, you damn criminals. You fucking shark, you
Yeah.
Fucking pieces of shit. You know, she's just talking shit to Strauss, like, you fucking degenerate piece of shit. Like, how dare you, you know? And then, you know, I was kind of just standing there looking at her, you know, and she's just sitting there and she's like, you fucking, you know, you worthless scumbag. Like, how dare you lend people money knowing they can't pay you back?
Uh-huh.
You know? And the dude's like, well, how's Mr. whatever the fuck his name is, the husband? And she's like, well, he's dead. You know, he died because of you. And then she looks at Arthur when she says that. And I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I feel bad, man. I feel legitimately bad when she looks at you and she tells you, like, she died because someone beat him. And then she fucking looks at you, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, damn.
Oh, yeah.
Damn. I'm sorry, lady. You know, I felt really bad. And then she kind of walks away with her kid. And Arthur kind of goes up to Strauss. And I don't know if you guys said this, but I talked to him. And Arthur kind of has a conversation with Strauss, you know, like, hey, man, like, you know, that's kind of fucked up. I didn't mean to kill the guy. And Strauss is like, oh, who cares? He was going to die anyways.
Yeah.
He's like, it comes with the territory.
Yeah, like, no big deal. He was going to die anyways. He was sick. Who gives a shit? At least we got our money, you know? Like, I was like, damn, dude, Strauss is a cold-hearted motherfucker. Like, this dude just doesn't care about nothing but the money, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
I didn't like the Strauss missions, like, because you start off like that. And not one of his missions are you able to just go and get your money easy.
No.
It's like, all of the people that you go and get money from, it's like, you know, something's wrong, somebody died, you know, and then, like, you have to, I don't even think it gives you a choice. Like, you just have to intimidate them or something, or, like, try and persuade them to give you money or whatever, and then it's not till, like, the later half of the game where you can, you know, just say, like, you know, fuck it, you know, just, you know.
That's crazy. Anyways, after this, you end up moving camps or whatever to that, next to the river. I forget what that camp is called. We end up moving next to, like, this river or lake.
The Beaver Creek?
I don't know.
Beaver Hollow, I think.
Beaver Hollow?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
that's the end of chapter 1, so.
Yeah, the end of chapter 1. And during chapter 1, a lot more things happen. For example, you end up going hunting with Hosea. And then you run into that fucking bear. That's when everybody learns you got to take that fucking rifle off of your horse. Because if all you have is that fucking revolver, you're so fucking screwed, dude. That fucking bear charges at you so quick. I was like, oh shit. I was like, Hosea, where the fuck are you? The fucking
bear. I'm reliving the Revenant right now.
Exactly. It was totally like a Revenant moment where the fucking bear jumps on your face and he's just like mauling your fucking arm and you're like, oh fuck. You're trying to shoot it in the head with your revolver, but it's doing nothing to it. You're like, fucking shit, dude.
Oh, Hosea's just ran off because he's scared.
Hosea's behind a rock. He's just looking at you like, I'll stand back here, Arthur.
And that's what I mean by, you know, chapter 1 is, you know, overall pretty slow compared to the rest of the game. And, like, stuff like that where you learn, like, okay, you know, when you're riding your horse for a while, you see Arthur put his guns away and, like, you know, stash them on the horse. So it's like, that's something where you learn, like, okay, I gotta, you know, make sure I have everything before I leave my horse. And, like, at that, you know, that mission where you're hunting with them, like, that was one of the parts where I was dozing off, and then, you know, that bear comes at you real quick, and, oh, shit, you know, because you put out some bait or something, and you're just kind of waiting, and then it all happens pretty quick. But.
Yeah, those bears come at you so damn fucking fast, and you have, like, Deadeye or whatever, but, I mean, even if... I remember I put like 6 shots into it and it didn't even slow it down. It didn't even like flinch.
And then you get the option afterwards if you want to continue hunting it or go back with Hosea.
Yeah.
Which I continued hunting it and I killed it eventually, but...
I ended up going back. I ended up letting Hosea go back to camp by himself and then I think I ended up killing it, but it took me a long time. I think I had to go buy like a new rifle or something to be able to kill it. Yeah, I bought like the Lynchfield repeater or whatever that had more bullets because the first one you start off with has like 7 bullets and then the second one you buy has like 13 or 14 bullets or something like that. So I was like, I'm going to use this thing to kill it. And it worked. And that's when you meet, that's also when you figure out you can't carry a person and a bear pelt on your horse.
Yep, learned that the hard way.
Because that fucking lady's on the side of the road. Help me, mister.
My horse just up and died on me.
And you're like, okay, I'll help you. And then, you kind of think, okay, I'm going to get her off this horse. And then, like, maybe I can give her a ride back or something. And then you realize, like, she expects you to take your pelt off of your horse. And you're like, what the fuck? No, lady.
It's legendary.
That didn't happen to me. She didn't spawn until after that mission for me.
Really? She spawned, like, right away for me after that. I was like, oh, fuck this lady. I don't want to give you a ride. Screw you. Like, I left her there.
I should have done. So I dropped my pelt. I took her wherever the fuck she lived. It was far as fuck away. She lived
far, dude. Yeah.
It was real far. And then I went to go back for my pelt. And it wasn't there. Damn. And I was like,
yeah, it was crazy, man. Like all those little things, like that happen in the game. It's just insane. And during this whole time, what got me the most was just looking at the environments that they've built in this game. It looks so damn good, and everything just seems kind of real. Like, it seems like a world where people actually live in it, where you're just seeing people riding their horses around or driving their wagons or hunting or just doing random shit around the map. You're like, damn. Anyways, in the second camp, we got there, I ended up doing some missions over there, and one of the things I ran into was the KKK.
I never saw them.
They were like having like a big meeting next to like this really close to my camp. Actually, I was going back to camp when I kind of heard him speaking, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And I kind of rode my horse through these bushes, and then I see a bunch of white hoods and like the pointy hats. I'm like, "What the fuck's going on here?" And there was like 40 of them or 20 of them just standing there. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna stand right here," and they're like doing they were doing something. And I ended up shooting at them. Yeah. What did you do, Alyssa?
I don't think I encountered them. Really? I think I saw it online where you could see them, but I'm like, I didn't meet them.
No, I saw them. Yeah, they were just kind of near my camp in the middle of the night. I was going back to camp, and I saw a big fire, like a big fire or something was burning, and they were burning across, and they're all having like this huge meeting or whatever. And like I said, I ended up shooting them all. But I guess if you just sit there and watch them, they're trying to baptize a new brother or whatever, like initiate a new member. But what ends up happening is the leader ends up catching his robes on fire because of the cross. And like, he ends up catching on fire. Yeah, he ends up catching on fire, and everybody catches on fire. And just a bunch of shit, like hell breaks out, like mayhem. I ran into those guys twice. Later on in the game, I ran into them like I was going back towards Valentine, and they were like on the side of this hill, and there wasn't a group of them. It was like the middle of the day, but it was like 3 of them maybe, and there was the leader, the dude wearing like the black robe or whatever, and there was the 2 dudes wearing the white robes, and the 2 dudes wearing the white robes were trying to lift up this cross. They were trying to like stand it up or whatever, and I was watching them, and the dude's like, "Come on, put your backs into it, and you're like, what the fuck? And I was standing there watching them. Come on, get some more leverage on that. They're trying to lift this huge cross up in the air. And what ends up happening is one of the guys, his hand slips, and the fucking cross crushes both of them. And then the dude with the black robe, he's like, well, I guess. I mean, what the fuck do I do now? And he kind of just standing there looking at them. So then what I ended up doing to that guy was I ended up grabbing him, I hogtied him, and I put him on the back of my horse. And I was trying to drown him as he was hogtied. I'm going to drown this guy. I'm throwing him into like a river or a lake or something. I threw him onto a puddle, and he wouldn't drown because you could tell he was choking because of the water, but he was able to like lift his head up and like spit it out and cough it up. So like he wasn't actually drowning. He was just kind of struggling. So I ended up having to like look on my map and like mark a lake or like a little thing, whatever I could take him to. And on my way there, I went to like a ranch. And everybody in the ranch, it was like, ding, 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 kidnapping. I was like, oh, shit. It was a kidnapping witness. There was like probably like 15 kidnapping witnesses. And like 4 dudes started shooting at me right away. They're like, hey, you. They started fucking shooting at me. I was like, what the fuck? So I ended up killing those guys. And I was just like, whatever, I'll get a bounty on me. So I got a bounty on my head. I had the sheriff coming. But I ended up throwing the KKK dude into like a lake type thing. And he drowned. And I got karma for that, for killing him. I got positive karma.
Wow.
Yeah. If you mess with the KKK, you get a bunch of positive karma. They don't give you negative karma for killing those guys.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never ran across those guys.
Yeah. Fucking.
I never did either.
Fucking hilarious. But during the second part of the game, where you're in that second chapter, that's when you ended up breaking out that Irish dude or whatever from camp.
Sean?
Yeah, Sean. You ended up breaking him out actually in the first chapter, where you're back at the other camp in the first one. You end up breaking him out, and that's when you have a party, and that's when you realize, like, oh shit, like your gang celebrates when you do something crazy like this. And that's when you sing the ring ding do, the ring ding do. You could sing with them, and like you can join them in the singing. You can like go up to the circle and start singing if you hold X. And then like as you walk away, Arthur will keep like humming like he just keeps singing like that, like kind of like every once in a while he'll kind of say something, like keep singing the song with him or whatever. But even though you're walking away, it's pretty good. I was like, damn, that's fucking fun, dude. Like I had fun doing that stuff because then there's just beer everywhere. You can keep drinking and getting drunk. You can never get as drunk as you got at the bar with Lenny though.
No, I tried.
Yeah, I tried. Yeah, I was drinking beer and whiskey and shit. Like, nope, ain't happening. It just doesn't.
You just kind of stumble a little, and it kind of tilts, and that's about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the other people can get pretty drunk. Like that one chick that always gets drunk. What's her name? You guys said it earlier.
Is it Karen?
Miss Grimshaw.
Karen, yeah, Karen, dude. She gets fucking wasted.
She's like the bigger one.
Yeah.
She's the bigger one.
She's the bigger lady, yeah. She gets fucking wasted, dude. She's like, fuck you guys. She just starts talking shit to everybody and gets wasted. And at every party, she's just trying to fight with everybody, And then Bill is usually Bill. You tell Bill to shut the fuck up because Bill's trying to tell some story about something that happened that he did back in the Civil War. He's always trying to tell his Civil War stories over there because he was in the Navy or whatever the fuck, He's trying to give you like his Civil War stories. You're like, shut up, Bill. You didn't do shit in the Civil War. All you were was a cook. And he's like, no, I wasn't. Talking about how he fired cannons and all this shit. And you were just a fucking cook, Bill. Don't lie. Oh, man. But in the second part of the game, you and Dutch actually become deputies for the town. Isn't it Rhodes?
Rhodes, yeah.
Yeah.
You become the fucking deputies of that town because Dutch goes into town and talks to the sheriff, and he becomes like his best friend. And
because he was drunk or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just hanging
He was
out.
like, you meet up with Dutch in town, and Dutch is like, hitting it off with the deputy, and the deputy's just wasted. And the other dude in the police station's like, yeah, okay, just like rolling his eyes because it must happen a lot where the deputy or the sheriff is like just always drunk.
Yeah.
Making people deputies.
Yeah, and then Dutch just looks at you like, Arthur, we're deputies now.
We could run this town.
Yeah.
And that's his big plan or whatever, to run the town and try to be cops under everybody's noses or whatever.
Well, because he wants, his motive is like, I don't know where you find out about it, but you kind of hear like Dutch is under the impression that the what are the Braithwaites and
the Greys.
The Greys. Yeah.
That that both of the families have gold and they're just sitting on it, and so Dutch is trying to finesse the situation to get the gold from both of them.
Yeah.
And have them like fight each other while we just sneak in there. Get our loot and get out of there.
Yeah, doesn't really go as according to plan though. and yeah, so what ended up happening, was I ended up doing some missions for the Greys, and then you and Hosea actually end up doing some missions for the Braithwaites, where you end up killing the people that stole a cart of moonshine from them, and you end up taking the moonshine back to them, and you're like, hey, look. We got you your moonshine, like we'll sell you this cart, like we're cool. We're going to help you out. And they're like, okay. And the lady she seems like a conniving lady to me. And she's like, okay, I'll pay you.
She's real skeptical.
Yeah, she's like, I'll pay you guys, okay. Yeah, and then, Hosea's like, yeah. And Hosea kind of becomes friends with her, trying to get information out of her. And you're doing missions for the Braithwaites and the Greys. But then, in between all that, there's like a little side mission between, like this, was it the Grey kid or whatever?
Yeah, he's in love with the Braithwaite.
Yeah, and he's in love with the Braithwaite girl or whatever, and you end up seeing like these love letters between him and shit.
Some Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, like these two love each other or whatever. They're trying to get together, but their families fucking hate each other or whatever. I was like, oh man. And I love how Arthur, in the middle of all this shit, he's like, "You're not gonna make me send another letter, are you?" He tells the girl this, like she's like, "No, I just need you to help me escape or do this other bullshit or whatever." And you kind of help that girl do some missions where, like, one of the missions I helped her do was I drove her wagon for her, like, women's voting or whatever.
Oh,
she
yeah.
wanted women to vote. So then you end up driving her wagon or whatever, and then all this shit happens. But, man, that whole second chapter was pretty cool. I thought that it was a pretty interesting thing where they did with the Braithwaites and the Greys or whatever.
That little feud.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And then I think you, like right after you bring the wagon of moonshine back to her, she's like, all right, we'll go take it into town and hand it out at the saloon. And then...
Yeah, to piss off the Greys.
and then you're in there and you go bartender Arthur and you're just pouring all these drinks and doing all these like fancy pours and stuff, trying to get as many...
Hand it out faster.
We're
handing out drinks as fast as this man can pour.
Yeah, isn't it you and Hosea are in town or whatever?
Yeah,
and Hosea's like, all right, you're my dumb brother or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And Arthur's like, what? And Hosea's like, yeah, you're my idiot brother. Just shut up and just pour drinks.
He's telling people, oh, he's killed 10 people, but, he's stupid. It's okay.
He killed our mother. He's saying all this shit like he killed our mother back home or whatever, and now we gotta do this. He can't do nothing. He can't talk, but he could sure as hell pour some drinks. And, they're just pouring fucking drinks and pressing X and mashing X and pressing B and all kinds of crazy shit. And Arthur's fucking flipping the bottle and shit, pouring whiskey on everybody. That shit was fucking cool, man. That was awesome as fuck. And everybody's just wasted and shit. Hosea's just fucking talking it up. And then the stupid-ass Greys showed up. They start shooting at you because they're like, what the fuck are you doing giving out whiskey in our town for the Braithwaites? And they end up shooting you or whatever, and then you kill all of them, you get out of there. In the next few missions, those where things ramp up where, like, for example, one of the next missions that I remember in that area was...
burning the tobacco fields?
Before that, actually. You're hanging out with... you have to go and meet Micah, Sean... and Bill in town because they have a plan to do something and they need your help because they need you to be part of this crew. So you show up to Rhodes and you're kind of just hanging out with them or whatever, and you're walking through town. You're just walking down the road, you're talking, and you guys are talking about this plan. And out of fucking nowhere, like just straight up, like you hear a gunshot as Sean is about to say something. He's like talking halfway, he's kind of like bullshitting with you. And he's responding to you to what you're going to say. And as soon as he's about to say it, boom, fucking gunshot goes off and half of his head explodes. Just explodes in front of you. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And you realize real quick that you've been surrounded by, I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was the Braithwaites or the Greys. I think it was probably the Greys or something. But they fucking set your ass up, or the sheriff. Somebody set you up.
Yeah.
Where you're just fucking surrounded by people, and the fucking, these people start shooting at you, and you're fucking, Sean is fucking just dead. He's just fucking dead. He's like, there ain't no way that motherfucker's getting up. You saw his head getting blown off. There ain't no way he's standing back up. And Bill's kind of freaking out. He's like, what about Sean? And Arthur and Mike are like, fuck Sean, like he's fucking dead. We'll come pick him up later. Just get the fuck out of here, And a big shootout happens. And then, yeah, man, after all said and done, you keep doing missions and you end up burning the tobacco fields or whatever at the Greys. You burn all their tobacco fields. That was pretty cool. I thought that was kind of interesting how you went.
That was one of the few stealthy missions of the game.
Yeah.
That was super stealthy. Yeah, you couldn't be caught by the guards or whatever. You had to burn all the fields.
If you get caught, you had to start it all over again.
Yep.
Yeah. Kind of had that, what's that, Dishonored kind of thing where you could see where their guards are looking in the mini-map and stuff.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, the way they're facing or whatever.
And whatever direction they had their lantern in.
Yeah.
You had to stay out of sight. Yeah, I like that one.
Burn the shit out of those fields is what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I did too.
Yeah. I don't know who you did. You did that mission with somebody. I forget who it was. Maybe it was Javier. Maybe somebody else.
I think it was Charles. Maybe it was Javier.
Maybe it was Charles. Charles is the big, he's the black Indian guy, right?
Yeah. I think it was Charles.
Yeah, because Javier is like the Mexican dude, right?
Yeah, that's right. I think it was Charles.
Yeah. Charles is always the guy who's promoting stealth. Like every mission you do with him,
that's
like,
right. Yeah,
like,
that makes sense.
We should be quiet here. We shouldn't be using guns. We should use our bows and our hatchets. What the fuck, Charles? Like, dude, I get you're an Indian, but I'm gonna use my guns, bro. Okay. Yeah. Fucking Charles, man. But yeah, you end up burning the whole field down, which ends up like pissing off the Greys that want to go against the Braithwaites. And then you end up going back to camp, and then the fucking Pinkertons show up for the second time. The first time they showed up was when you were hanging out with Jack. Yeah, you were fishing with Jack. And
he's like, Uncle Arthur.
And the fucking Pinkertons showed up and they're talking shit to you and they're looking at Jack like, what the fuck, whose kid is that? Like, what the fuck are you doing with this kid? And you're like, whatever. But yeah, the Pinkertons show up to camp and they tell everybody, like, look, all of you guys here and women, you're all free to go. All we want is Dutch. That's it. You can all fucking leave. I don't care about any of single one of you fucking pieces of shit. So you could just leave and live your life as free as you want to be. Nothing's against you. Everything will be forgiven against you. Just give us Dutch. And right there and then, everybody's just kind of looking at Dutch and they're looking at them. And Dutch is like, look, what do you think they're going to do? Like it's all about loyalty. That's what the whole gang runs on, this loyalty thing where they don't betray each other. They help each other. And the Pinkertons realize, like, okay, fuck. These fucking assholes are not going to give them up. We should probably leave, And they tell Dutch and everybody, like, look, next time we come back, we're going to have more than 50 men with us. And we're going to fucking kill every single one of you that don't give up.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when everybody starts freaking out on Dutch. Like, what the fuck, Dutch? Like, what are we going to do? And Dutch is like, I got a plan. Tahiti. Tahiti, boys. Tahiti. But then after that, like, you do some more shit for the Greyjoys, and then for some reason the Braithwaites end up kidnapping Jack. I don't know.
Because you stole horses from them.
Yeah, because you did that mission where you stole the horses from them. You're right, Alyssa. Yeah, I forgot about that mission. You stole the fucking horses from them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you took them to those weird brothers.
That was like another stealth mission where you got to hide in the back of the wagon or whatever, and I think...
Yeah, and then you got to take out the stable hand quietly and then steal the horses.
I killed him. I stabbed him in the neck. Kind of felt bad. I should have, like, subdued him or something, but I just stabbed him in the neck. I'm like, you're dead, dude. It's the stealthiest kill I can do.
Yeah, I think I tried to be stealthy, and then I think I pressed the wrong button or something, and then I had to reload, and then next time I was like, man, fuck this guy, I just killed him. Shot out of there like a bat out of hell.
Yeah, and then we end up getting a big shootout or whatever, running out of there. But then, of course, you go back to camp one day and everybody's freaking out. I think it's Abigail. She's freaking the fuck out. She's like, where the fuck is Jack?
She's like, where's my son?
And then John's like, don't worry, we're going to find him. And she slaps the fuck out of John. You stupid bastard, it's all your fault. Everybody's freaking out. And Arthur's like, calm down, what the fuck happened? And that's when, this is one of the coolest moments in the game where I was like, fuck, yes. Because, everybody's pissed off. Nobody fucks with Jack. Jack is a kid, like, you can take anybody else in the gang. You can kidnap anybody else. Anybody. Don't give a fuck. Yeah, we'll go after you, but we could, that'll be like a few people will go get you. But you fucked with Jack. That's another level, dude. And that's when the whole, like, Dutch gets out there, he's like, what the fuck's going on out here, and everybody's freaking out, and then he's like, all right, that's it. We know who took him. It was the fucking Braithwaites. Let's go get him. And that's when everybody rides out, like, all the dudes in the camp just get on fucking horses, and everybody's just riding together,
That was the coolest when you're going to the Braithwaite mansion and you got that road of just trees on your side. I took so many screenshots right there.
I took a screenshot right there where you're just walking down the road with your guns out. You're like fucking 8 of you just walking down the road in a line.
Perfect formation. Yeah, dude, that was, and the music too. The music when it was going on, it was just like, ooh, I'm about to fuck some people up right now.
Oh yeah, you knew shit was gonna go down. Nobody in that fucking house was gonna leave alive. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you fucking took him out. But anyways, you end up showing up, and then, you go up to the Braithwaites, and you're like, what the fuck? And the lady comes out, and she's like, what the fuck are you guys doing here with your guns? You put him away. And Dutch is like, nope. Where the fuck is Jack? You guys took Jack. Where the hell is he? You know, and she's like, "What the fuck you mean we took Jack? We didn't take Jack. What are you talking about?" And you're like, "Oh, we know he's here. We're gonna kill you and take him back." So then the big shootout happens. You know, crazy shit is going on. You have a huge shootout with these like Braithwaites. There's tons of them. And one of the coolest parts for me was I switched to first person mode when you kick in the front door. And being inside the house with the shotgun, dude, and in first person, you fucking blow people away, man. That shit was wild. You know, you just run up to somebody and kind of hit them in the face with your gun and put it against their chest and just shoot it. Fuck, it's crazy. First person, damn, dude. And then you shoot it, or you shoot them in the head real up close, their head just kind of disappears. They just have no head. All of a sudden, they're just bleeding everywhere, but no head. It's wild. But yeah, you end up finding out that Jack isn't there. You end up grabbing.
They sold him to Angelo Bronte.
Was it he's Italian, right? The Italian guy. Yeah, and you end up fucking letting the lady go or whatever. I wanted to kill her so bad.
No, you don't let her go.
Yeah, you end up burning the house down or whatever.
Yeah, she stays in the house though.
But you don't kill her.
Oh, okay, you're right. Yeah, you burned down the house, and she's like, "My house," and she runs back in. And I was like, okay, I guess.
That's what I was thinking the whole time too. I was like, what the fuck is she doing going back in there? But I mean, I guess she had nothing left to live for, because you realize like she had no treasure.
Yeah.
The only thing that whole family was running on was their moonshine, which they were making, but without the house, without their farm, how are they going to make all that? You know what I mean?
I also remember going to the house and getting that shield. They had the gold shield, thinking, "Oh, this is gonna be valuable." And then you go to like donate it or sell, and it's like $0.
$0, like damn.
It's like, well, this is worthless.
Yeah, man, that was fucking crazy when that happened. You know, where you end up shooting her, and yeah, I liked chapter 2. I don't know about you guys, but I liked it a lot.
That was good. It was nice because chapter 1 was so slow. Yeah. And chapter 2, there was like, you could really focus in. It was very focused on this feud between the Greys and the Braithwaites. So there was always something you were doing. And it was just, you can really like, it was easier to follow because you were going back and forth, like doing missions for both. And then I think that's what made it go like a lot smoother and quicker than chapter 1, just because chapter 1 you did a little bit of everything, whereas chapter 2 you're kind of just dealing with this feud. So it went a lot. The pace was a lot faster.
Definitely. Anyways, during that whole time, you end up moving camps once again because, of course, the Pinkertons showed up. They told you they're going to come back. So you're in this big hurry. And, you know, Kieran is now your friend because Kieran saved your life in one of the missions. He ends up shooting, I think it's an O'Driscoll that has Arthur, like, almost dead.
Yeah.
And you end up shooting him. So, like, Kieran is now kind of part of the gang, you know, whatever. He kind of is on your side now.
That's the
kid you captured in the beginning that you had tied up to a tree.
From the O'Driscolls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm no damn O'Driscoll. He's like one of the people you catch, like, right in the first part of the game where you're in the snowy map area or whatever. Yeah, and then you end up going to this camp in the north, which is like a house, kind of, which I thought was the coolest camp out of all of them.
Yeah.
And that one's, you probably spend the most time of the game in that camp.
Was that?
Shady Belle?
Yeah, probably.
Was that the one where you, where they had the weapons there and you scouted out beforehand? Or was that a different one? There was like a gang. Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Oh, you know, you're right. There was a gang there.
Yeah, there was a gang there.
You end up going up there to clear out the gang or whatever and taking
You go up there with someone, and you're kind of... It might have been Lenny? I don't know. You go up with somebody.
Yeah, it was Lenny.
And then they had a bunch of weapons there. It was like some like gang hideout or something. They had a bunch of weapons there, so you go in there.
I think it was the Lemoyne Raiders hideout.
It was. It was the Raiders. And that's when you kind of get introduced to them, and you take over their place, and then you're like, and then you bring it up once you guys have to move. You're like, well, there's this place up north, we'll go there.
Yeah. So then everybody ends up packing up and moving up, to the north. And that's when you kind of end up doing missions in like Saint Denis and all those areas up north, in like the swampy areas.
Fuck Saint Denis.
Tons of those, tons of that area.
That was the worst city because you'd just be riding your horse through it, and someone would walk in front of your horse.
Yeah.
And you'd run over them, and immediately you'd be one in the whole city, and you're like, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
They walked in front of me.
Every time I did something in that city that was like a criminal thing, or that I shot somebody, stabbed somebody, robbed somebody, or something, that I did there. And if there was a cop coming, I would just surrender. I'd be like, all right, just take me to jail. Just, I don't want to shoot you and then have another $20 bounty, and then I can't surrender anymore.
Damn, I never went to jail.
Just take me now. And pretty much all that happened when you went to jail was you would see Arthur sitting in a jail cell for like a day or two, and then all of a sudden you would be let out, and you'd get let out, and then they'd take like a few dollars off or whatever. Like probably less than what your bounty was. And they'll let you go.
Yeah. I'm just still salty that first time you go into Saint Denis, you get fucking punked by these shit kids.
Oh yeah, and you have to chase them.
Yeah, you chase them through the city. I was getting so frustrated. I was like, where are these damn kids?
Get off my lawn!
Damn little assholes steal your shit and take off running. Don't they steal your like bag or something? They steal your bag.
They steal your whole bag, and then
just running.
You go up to the
leader,
the fucking Peter Pan.
Yeah, Peter Pan
kid.
In the group, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, give me my stuff back. You're trying to talk to a bunch of kids, and they're all surrounding you with like guns and shit.
Yeah, well, even like what I thought was hilarious was like even the littlest one, he looked like he was probably like 4 or 5. He had like a stick, but he had it shaped like a gun, and he was holding it like a gun.
Yeah.
But it was like a stick. I was laughing at that. I was like, really, dude? Like, you're like 4 years old, man. Come on. But you're right. Those fucking kids are the worst in that fucking town when you first run into them. But I did a bunch of things in Saint Denis. I went and got outfits. I went to the magic shows. Did you guys ever do the magic shows?
No, I didn't.
Those are the best. They have plenty of them. They're different. Every night you go, they're different.
I found the vampire there. There's a mission where you have to like
vampire.
There's this mission. I had to look it up online to even discover it. But you go around the city and you find these drawings and you write them down in your sketchbook. And after you get like 5 drawings, it tells you where to find the vampire. And you have to go at night. And then he's in an alley, trying to bite someone's neck. Like he's already killed them. And he's like, I'm a vampire. I drink blood. And you're like, no, you're not. You're bullshitting. And you have the choice to either spare him or kill him. But either way, if you spare him, like I chose to spare him, and he still rushed me, and I had to kill him anyway. You get like a really good gun off him when you do it, though. But he dies with 1 bullet, so he's not a vampire, but he's saying he is. But he was drinking people's blood, though.
Well, he's fucking crazy then.
Like he'd cut their necks when they were dead and drink it.
He's just fucking crazy. That's all he is. But yeah,
the only way you can find that is if you found the drawings around the city.
One of the cool things that happened to me was in the magic show. I spoke about this on the podcast, but I don't know if you heard it, but I'll say it here. When I was watching the magic show, I just went there by myself, just randomly, one night. I was like, oh, we're going to go watch this show. And I was watching it, and the great magician showed up. This dude who's a magician shows up, and he's doing like all these tricks, right? But his main act is he has his assistant shoot a bullet at him, and he's going to catch it with his teeth. So, of course, she shoots the bullet at him, and he, of course, catches it with his teeth. He like does like this thing where he almost falls over, like the Matrix kind of where he like is falling over. And then he stands right up, and he's like, yeah, ta-da, you doing? The fucking drums are banging, and everybody's like, yeah. But there's a guy in the front row who's like, you fucking liar, that's fucking fake. You're using fake bullets. It's a blank. You fucking full of shit. I don't believe you. And the guy's like, oh, really? Well, then, if you don't believe me, I challenge anyone in the crowd to come up here and shoot their own gun at me, and I'll catch the bullet. So at that point, you have the option to stand up and go up there and do the thing where you're going to shoot him. So I go up there, right? Arthur goes up there, and he's like, you, sir, you look like a brave man. You got guns. Why don't you go ahead and shoot me, and I'll catch the bullet? And I'm like, Okay. So I agree to it. And then he's standing there, right, and like the drum, they have like a drum roll going, fucking drum rolls going, fucking crazy, like this fucking shit's going on. And the dude's standing there with his arms spread open, and he's like, all right, go ahead and shoot me wherever you want, and I'll catch the bullet with my teeth. Yeah, okay, you're full of shit, dude. And I knew, of course I have real bullets in my gun because I've killed people, tons of people with this shit. So I pull out my pistols. I aim dead at his fucking head, right? Because I was going to shoot him in the chest, but I'm like, no, if I shoot him, I want to kill him, so I'm going to aim at his fucking head. Mm-hmm. So I aim right at his fucking face, like literally, dead on, dude. And I even, to make sure I got the fucking headshot, I did dead eye. And I shoot him in the fucking jaw, like in the face. I shot him right in the fucking face, dude. And he like does this thing where he's falling back. It looks like he died, where like he fell back. He's kind of like falling to the ground, and he stands up, and he's like, "Ta-da!" He fucking pulls a bullet out of his mouth, and you're like, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" I freaked the fuck out, dude. I was like, "Whoa!" I personally started fucking clapping, dude. I was like, "Fuck yeah! This is the shit. It's like the best show I've ever seen in my life." It was so fucking cool, man, because the dude literally caught my bullet with his fucking teeth.
Damn.
He fucking did it. Like, it is wild, man.
I like how excited Arthur gets. Like when you go to the theater show or something with what's her face?
Mary.
Yeah, Mary Beth.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And when you go to the theater with her, Arthur's having like a grand old time. Like he gets so excited about the show, and like you're saying, Jesus, the magic show, like. He's all tripping out over it. Yeah. It's funny.
Oh, my, that's fascinating. He's all fucking clapping and shit, cheering and shit. Or and he's cheering for the girl that's dancing with the fire or whatever. There's this chick that dances with like fire around her or whatever, and she's like a belly dancer. And he's like, oh, my, she's hot as hell. He's up there. And Mary Beth is like, Arthur, shut the fuck up. What are you doing? That was fucking hilarious. I love that whole... And then, but the thing is, when I did that mission, it was right after I went to go see the magic show, the one that I'm talking about, where the dude got shot in the face with my gun and he survived or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I went to go see the magic show with Mary Beth, like, the next day. I did the mission with her where you take her out on a date or whatever the fuck you're doing, and you end up going to the magic show. I did the mission with her, and I was thinking to myself, man, I'm going to see the same shit again. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be the same fucking show again. And I was thinking to myself, I'm going to shoot the guy in the face in front of Mary Beth if he challenges people to do it, right? And then, no, it was a completely different fucking show. Like, everything was different. Like, some of the people were the same, but not all the people were the same. For example, like, when I went with Mary Beth, there was this lady that was singing, like a lady that sang some song about calling her...
The Saint Denis song?
She was singing a song about, like, a phone call, like, calling her husband or like use a telegram. It was like it's a famous song. I've heard it on the radio actually, but she's singing this song, and then like the magic guy wasn't even an act. He wasn't even there. Like they had the fire lady, but she did a completely different thing from the first time. She did like a whole new dance, like a whole new thing. It was her, but it was a whole new thing. So like they have these whole new acts, but the same people sometimes. But sometimes they switch out the people because it's different acts. I thought it was super well done how they did that, because they have like, I think altogether they have like 9 different shows they show at that theater. Wow. So you could go there like cool. 9 times and watch 9 different things happen. Hey. But that's super cool. Anyways, back to the story here. We're in this little camp. We're hanging out, and isn't this where you go talk to Bronte?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, because Jack's missing. He just moved camps, and you're like, all right, we gotta go find this dude who has Jack, presumably.
And then this is kind of in the moment where in the game where I kind of started liking John, because he realized before this mission, he realized, like, I'm just a fuck up. Like John Marston just told, like, you're riding with him to, like, I think it was Saint Denis to go talk to Bronte, and he's just like, man, I'm a disgrace. I'm just a dumbass. And Arthur's like, what? I do everything, try to do everything right, but I just fuck everything up. I just don't know what to do in my life. You know, like I've been gone for a year. My kid doesn't even like me. My wife, my girlfriend, or whatever the fuck she is, Abigail, don't like me. You know, like I lost my kid. I can't get him back. You know what I mean? He's just like, I'm just a fuck up. Like, I realize I'm an idiot. You know, I got nothing going for me, Arthur. Like, what the fuck do I do with my life? And Arthur's like, well, you are kind of a dumbass, but, you know, it is what it is. You got to do it what you got. You know, like, what are you going to do? You can't change your life, you know? Like,
he had that brotherly moment with him. I remember that.
Yeah. And John's like, I'm just a fuck up, Arthur. Like, I don't know what to do with myself. And you meet Bronte, the crazy Italian guy who's just like this real fucking douchebaggy dude. He's like, I'm going to fucking, you know, make you guys do some mission for me at the cemetery to fucking give me the kid back. And then you go do the cemetery mission. I think that was with Lenny. You end up going to the cemetery, killing these grave robbers. And then you end up escaping from the police. Another stealth mission where you actually have to go through the fog, use the elements around you to escape from the police without being detected, which that was pretty cool, I thought, because you're in the cemetery. It's very crammed. There's lots of guards. That was super fucking cool. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
it was a little challenging because you're like, where do I go? There's so many graves.
Yeah, so many things to do there, but it was super cool. And you escape and you get back to and I thought to myself, like, all right, I just did this whole fucking thing. This dude's not going to give Jack up. I'm going to have to shoot him in the face and then take Jack. You know, that's when I was thinking this the whole time going back to the fucking house. I'm like, dude's not going to give him up. I'm going to have to shoot him, and I'm going to have to shoot everybody in the house, and I'm going to have to shoot all the cops that come to the house. I'm ready for a shootout right now. And the dude's just like, nope, here's Jack. Here you go. Take him home with you. And then what I thought was hilarious was when little Jack is with you, and he's just like,
oh, yeah.
Papa Bronte gave me food. Papa Bronte gave me this
he's
thing.
like, Papa Bronte gave me spaghetti.
Yeah.
Have you tried spaghetti? It's amazing. And he also gave me 2 pairs of slippers, one for day and one for night.
Yeah.
And John's like, quit calling him Papa Bronte.
And he's like, don't be saying that stuff.
Don't be talking like that, boy.
And the first thing, like, when Abigail first sees him again, he's like, Mama, have you tried spaghetti?
Yeah.
Because he's like, you guys try spaghetti? And Arthur and John are like, what the fuck spaghetti? Like, what is that? You know, what are you talking about? What the hell is it? He's like, it's an Italian food, you know, like these like things that look like worms, but they're not worms. And they're covered in this sauce, tomato sauce, and it's really good, you know, like, and you're like, what the fuck, you know, like, what the fuck are you talking about, kid? Like,
all we eat is canned soup and fruit.
Beans and shit, you know? What the fuck are you talking about, boy? It was funny, though, how the little kid is just super excited. He was like, yeah, I had my own bedroom and, like, all this, like, I had my own, you know, chest full of toys and all this stuff, you know, and at that moment, I kind of felt bad for John because I'm thinking to myself, like, fuck, man, John must be thinking to himself, like, I'm just a piece of shit. I lost my kid, you know, I can't provide for my family. We're living in these, like, shitty-ass camps. And he's just, this kid, you know, had everything he could have ever wanted with this guy that doesn't even know him.
That was the happiest that Jack is in the entire game is when he was with Bronte. And it's just so, like, oh, it hits you right in the feels, like, you know.
Yeah, because you realize,
he's like, the best thing that's ever happened to me was getting kidnapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like, that's fucked up, you know, when you realize how bad of a life these guys are having where, you know, this kid is growing up in this shit, and the best thing that's ever happened to him was that, you know, he got kidnapped, and this dude treated him like a fucking king, like a prince. Gave him everything he wanted, a house, a bedroom, fucking shower, you know, all this shit that he wanted, you know, and you can't have it.
Yeah, wasn't there a part where he's like, I took a bath.
Yeah, I took a bath. Yeah, he's all excited, you know, like about taking a bath. You're like, what the fuck? Yeah. And he's talking about he got new clothes and he's dressed up like all fancy and shit. He has like a little suit on. Like, oh man, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. And then after that, you start celebrating again because you got Jack back. You throw another party. And then this party was hilarious because I was walking around camp, you know, and Karen's all drunk. She's passing out or whatever. Javier is singing some song in Spanish or something. He's over there singing a song about Mexico. And then fucking, I go up to Lenny, right? He's like hanging out at the table or whatever where the drinks are. And he's looking at me. And then Arthur's looking at him. And Arthur's like, Lenny. And Lenny's like, oh no, not again. I'm having flashbacks. It's fucking hilarious. I just thought that was so well done. You know, like Arthur kind of teases him a little bit. Arthur's like, Lenny, my boy, Lenny. Fucking Lenny's like, no, not again. Oh shit. Oh, that was so cool, man. But during this whole time, you know, like all this crazy shit is happening in the game where, you know, in Saint Denis you meet Bronte, and then you meet the Indian people, right? Because you go to Bronte's party or whatever. That's where you meet the mayor.
Yeah.
You see the Indian guy who I think is Rainfalls.
Mm-hmm.
What are the guys' names? There's Rainfalls, and what's the other guy?
Eagle Flies.
Eagle
Flies.
Yeah. So you meet those two or whatever. They're kind of talking to the mayor. They're trying to get the mayor to, like, do some deals for them or whatever, because the fucking Leviticus Cornwall, is trying to take over their land or whatever, you know, because they have oil up there in their land. So Leviticus Cornwall is trying to push up against them or whatever, making them move again.
Right.
And all this shit's going on. I thought that party was kind of weird, you know, because, like, I'm already wearing a nice suit. Like, I had a nice suit most of the game. As soon as you rob that first bank or whatever, you know, you have like $4,000 or $5,000. I had a really nice suit, and these guys are like, all right, you need to go get yourself a nice suit and dress like a fucking human being, Arthur. And I'm like the best dressed guy here. What the fuck are you guys talking about? You know, like, what the hell's going on, guys? So they make you go buy like a new suit. You go with Hosea to buy a new suit. And at that point, my Arthur had like really shaggy hair. Like, his hair was all long. His beard was all long. I ended up actually getting him clean shaven. And I got him like a nice fancy haircut. Like, his hair was short again. He looked like a decent man. Then he went to this party. And then at the party, like, I thought Bronte was just a douchebag. You know what I mean? The way he treats you in Dutch or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, you can bring out the good wine now. You know what I mean? When you guys are walking away or whatever. I was like, what a fucking douche, dude.
And, like, if you have subtitles on in Italian, you can see what he's saying about you to his friends.
Yeah. Yep. It's fucking such a douchebag, you know what I mean? Because he, like, tells them, like, this is, like, probably the first time they've showered in months or whatever. Like, I was like, oh, man, you fucking dick, dude. I didn't like that guy at all.
No.
But then you meet Rainfalls and all those people, and I think after that, isn't this when you do start doing missions with Rainfalls and them? Or they kind of tell you to go talk to somebody for them or something?
Yeah, they tell you, like, all right, let's, you know, whenever you're ready, meet us at so-and-so.
Don't they tell you to, who's Rainfalls and who's Eagle Flies? Is Rainfalls the dad?
Rainfalls?
Yeah, he's the dad.
He's the dad. And Eagle Flies is like the son. He's kind of like,
the crazy.
He's got like that chip on his shoulder, like, oh, I just want to kill them all, you know?
Yeah, these fucking white men.
Yeah, Rains Falls is like, no, we got to go before Congress and appeal our case, and we have to do it the right way. Violence is not the answer.
Rainfalls realizes that, like, they stand no chance against the U.S. Army. They just don't. Like, it doesn't matter how many Native Americans there is, they just don't stand a chance because the fucking U.S. Army has, like, trains and fucking cannons and, you know, guns. These guys, they have guns and stuff, but, like, they're not nearly as good with him as, you know, as the fucking Americans are or whatever. But I think this is where you end up going to meet Eagle Flies in front of the Cornwall refinery, that big oil place, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And you end up meeting with him there, and then you kind of scout it out or whatever. For some reason, you end up scouting it out. Isn't that what you do?
I think you also have to sneak into the warehouse and go to the office at the top and get documents from the guy up there. Or is that a different mission?
No, that's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he ends up blowing up the oil tower?
No, that's a different mission. That's like near the end of the game.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, I think in this one I think what you end up doing is actually, isn't this where you hijack the train and drive the train? That must be different. That must be near the end of the story.
I thought the first mission you kind of do, it's when you're dealing with Cornwall. I don't know. I don't think you do it solo, but you go and you steal like one of their like oil oil wagons or something, and you have to drive it back. But I think that's something different.
That oil wagon. When you steal that one, dude, that's when you end up robbing the train with John and all those guys. You end up robbing that one train.
Right. Okay. So that's after you meet with the Eagle Flies and Rains Falls.
I think so. Yeah, you end up robbing the train, which you use the oil wagon to light it on fire on the tracks to make the train stop, and then the train stops.
Okay, that's right.
And you're trying to steal something from the train, some kind of documents or some shit or something. But then the law shows up and crazy shit starts happening. But yeah, you meet all those people. You end up going back to camp. And a lot of more missions play out where they're kind of fuzzy in my head. I beat the game a month and a half ago now. And I don't know what else happens in Saint Denis, man. Like, what do you guys remember?
Like, after Jack is returned, people are like, have you seen Kieran? Since Jack's return? Everyone's like, no. They're like, he'll probably show back up.
You're right. And that's when, isn't it like after that, like you're doing some kind of mission where like you're in the front porch of the camp and you're talking to Sadie, and Sadie's kind of sitting there with her gun. She's cleaning her gun. And she's like, look, I'm Sadie, like this and that, you know, like she's actually like, she doesn't have her hair down anymore. She put it up in a ponytail. She's wearing the cowboy hat. She's wearing the pants. Mm-hmm. And she's like, you don't treat me like one of these ladies around here. I'm a fucking, you know, I could defend myself. I know how to use a gun. And I'm just like, whatever, lady. Like, calm the fuck down. And then, like, Kieran comes riding down the fucking driveway with, like, his head on his hands, on his lap.
Yeah. And Miss Grimshaw screams and faints.
Yeah, and then fucking, like, everybody's like, get all the women inside. Get all the women inside. And the fucking, like, the O'Driscolls, right? They showed up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And they end up shooting at you guys, and the big shootout happens, and then at the end of that shootout, I think Dutch or Javier, they're like, where's Sadie? Like, where the fuck is Sadie? Because everybody in the house is freaking out. They don't know where Sadie is. And you end up having to go look for Sadie in the back of the house, and she's back there just fucking killing dudes. Just like fucking Ramboing it up. Like stabbing them in the neck and shit. Fucking kicking people and fucking wild.
Yeah, that's where you kind of realize that Sadie's a badass and like all of her potential and stuff.
Yeah. Because she's just back there just like stabbing dudes in the neck and shit, fucking shooting them and all kinds of shit. It's fucking wild, man. But yeah, fucking O'Driscolls. Goddamn O'Driscolls. Yeah, they end up doing that. And then I think, is this the mission where
you try and go after Colm?
Yeah, but what happens, I think, who sets up a meeting? Isn't it Bill and Micah?
Yeah, I think it was Bill and Micah.
Because Bill and Micah, to me, seem like they become kind of friends before Dutch and Micah become friends. I think Bill and Micah become kind of friends, and you kind of always see them together. And then all of a sudden, like, Bill and Micah have like this plan where we're gonna make peace with the Driscolls, with Colm or whatever.
Yeah.
And they tell you and Dutch and Bill and I think it was Micah to go and meet with Colm O'Driscoll at some kind of place in the desert where you're gonna have some kind of peace. You know, you're gonna make peace. Dutch and Colm are gonna make peace, and they tell you like, all right, Arthur, you're gonna be our lookout. Like in case shit goes down, which is probably gonna go down, you're the lookout, dude. And what I thought was, you know, that whole time, you know, I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I got the drop on this dude. I'm going to shoot him right in the face. You know what I mean? I was thinking to myself, I'm pulling the trigger as soon as Dutch pulls out his gun or something. And all of a sudden you hear someone sneak up behind you and it's a fucking O'Driscoll and he like hits you in the face with his gun and he kidnaps you.
Oh, yeah. That mission, yeah.
Yeah, this was a fucked up mission because you're on the horse. Yeah, you're on the back of a horse. You wake up and they're like riding away with you and you're like, what the fuck? And you kind of look over and you realize you're on a horse looking at the ground. You can actually break out of your rope during that scene. If you wiggle enough or whatever, you can like you fall off the horse kind of and you break off of your rope. And then you take off running down the road. Like I took off running and the guys were like, oh, look, he's trying to get away. And they all kind of just turn around and like hog tie you again and fucking knock you out, you know? But yeah, you don't make it very far. You like try to run, but you're all fucked up. So you can't really run.
And then you wake up upside down somewhere, right?
Yeah, you wake up upside down in the fucking, that house in the basement. And you're getting tortured.
Like a little bunker.
Yeah, you're getting tortured by, like, the Driscolls, right? They're just torturing you, like burning you and shit, and just fucking beating you. And Colm is beating you. They're all just beating you. Like, they just don't like you. They realize they got you, so they're like, whatever. And yeah, you end up escaping from there, which I thought was pretty all right. I mean, that mission was really short. Like, you end up just swinging around, the typical escape from a rope upside down. You swing, and then you end up burning yourself in the chest with the gunpowder. You pour the gunpowder.
Yeah, you cauterize it.
Like, they do all that shit, and then you grab the little throwing knives, and then you throw them. You kill, like, a few people on the way out, and then you just take off with your guns and your horses.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that one was okay.
Yeah.
I felt the same way.
All I did was, what I did to get out of there was I rode my horse into the river, and I just kept going into the river towards my camp. And eventually the cutscene just played, where, like, they showed me riding back to camp. Because I was like,
barely.
I'm not going.
Yeah, you're all weak and tired and stuff, and you're just like, barely made it to camp, and you, like, pass out, and then I think you sleep for a day or something.
Yeah, you fall off your horse or whatever, and then...
And everyone crowds around you, and they're like, get him to bed!
Yeah, Dutch is like, oh, there he is, you know, and Miss O'Shea is like, get him something, you know, you fucking put you in the bed or whatever, and they heal you up. But what I want to know is what happened between all that. Do you guys know what happened between, like, Dutch and them?
No.
Because, I don't remember them ever mentioning, like, how Dutch and Micah and Bill got away.
I don't remember it either.
You figured if they took you out and you're the lookout, why would they keep them alive when the lookout is gone? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was supposed to... That's a good question.
Because you figured if the sniper took me out as the lookout, couldn't the sniper have... Or the dude that saw me sniping, couldn't he just picked up my gun and shot Dutch right there and there?
Yeah, he could have.
Or shot Bill or shot Micah in the head or whatever, and then... The other dude could have taken out Dutch. Like, I don't... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Dutch and them wouldn't have been expecting it. It just seems kind of weird. Like, I don't know what happened. It never really clears up there what happened between Dutch and them. Like, what kind of agreement they came to.
Huh.
I don't know. That's a really weird part of the story there that I don't understand. A poorly written fucking story right there, guys. We don't know what happened.
Just hashtag uninstall.
This is where you uninstall the game. No, after this, isn't it where Dutch and I think Dutch and Micah and all of them have a plan to rob the bank in Saint Denis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you kind of see Dutch and Micah
become friends, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Dutch is kind of like, oh, Arthur, you know, you've always been my boy, but. Yeah, and then he starts like you start getting this like subpar treatment, even though you were like you barely made it there alive.
Yeah.
And then Dutch kind of like kicks you off to the side for like the rest of the game, like fucked up.
Yeah, like pretty much like at that point I think this is where you see like the difference between normal Dutch and Dutch going really psychotic, because Dutch at this point he wants to rob the bank in the middle of the fucking day, and Hosea's like, no, dude, like, we shouldn't rob this fucking bank. What the fuck's gonna happen if we rob this bank? You know people are gonna show up. Like, we're fucked. And Dutch is like, no, we'll be fucking fast. We're gonna do this. It'll be quiet. We'll be quiet. We got a plan. And the plan is to get, isn't the plan to get Abigail and Hosea to plant a bomb? And
they're just causing a distraction or something.
Yeah, there's a bomb. They're going to blow up a bomb on the other side of town to get all the police to go there.
Yeah, it was something like that.
And then that's when you guys are going to rob the bank, because the bomb goes off. Everybody runs over there to see what's happening. You guys rob the bank and you're good, right? Like, pretty good fucking plan. Pretty solid for the most part. And you end up going into the bank. You start robbing the bank. You know, you do the little safe thing. You're cracking the safes open or whatever. You know, get down on the fucking ground. You know, you're beating the manager to open the safe or whatever. And then the bomb went off. Everything's going to plan. And all of a sudden, outside, you hear like the Pinkertons are outside. And I think Javier calls him out. He's like, the law is outside. And everybody's like, what the fuck? How the fuck are they out here so quick? You know, like they were out there in minutes.
Yeah.
You thought you would have had way more time, yeah. And then because you don't even get to clear out the safe in the bank before they show up.
You only get like one or two safes.
Like one or two things open. And you're like, what the fuck? They're here already? And then like that's when the Pinkerton dude, I think isn't it Ross or what's the other guy's name? Milton.
Milton.
Milton. He's out there and he's like, come out, Dutch. We got Hosea. And then Hosea's just standing there with the dude like he has a gun to his head, and Hosea's like, oh fuck. Hosea tells Dutch, don't, like, fuck this guy. Don't listen to him. And the dude's like, and Hosea's just kind of standing there looking around, and then what I was wondering that whole time is, where the fuck is Abigail? Where is Abigail this whole time?
I don't know.
How did Hosea get caught, but not Abigail? They know Abigail's part of the gang, or she's with John.
Right.
I think Abigail did get caught because you have to go and rescue her.
Too.
Do you? From where do you rescue her?
From the Pinkertons. They have her like in a warehouse or something, and you and Sadie go and rescue her.
Oh.
I think that's later in the game.
Okay, that's later.
I
think that's later.
That is later. That's like at the end of the game.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
No, you know what? I'm pretty sure Abigail and Hosea were there, but they had the gun. They were just holding Abigail, I think.
No, they were holding Hosea.
They had the gun to Hosea, and they were talking, and then, they're like, all right, well, if you're not going to come out, and then
they just shoot Hosea, dude, dead, like right there, just boom, just fucking dead. When they shot Hosea, dude, that's when I was like, there goes the gang, dude. Like, Hosea kept everyone together. Like, I felt like Dutch was the leader, but everyone listened to Hosea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as soon as Hosea died, as soon as I saw him like go down and die, I was like, fuck.
Hosea was like the voice of reason.
He was the one that told Dutch, like, calm your shit, dude. Like, have a plan, man. Don't just go crazy.
Yeah.
And isn't this when you have to go up on the rooftops and run?
Yep.
Yeah.
You end up running.
And then Lenny dies.
Yeah, and then that's really sad because, like, you're running you and Lenny are the first ones out, and you're running through the rooftops, and Lenny's like, come on, Arthur, and you're running, and as Lenny gets a little bit ahead of you, and the door, somebody kicks the door open, and they kind of knock Lenny over. And you just see Lenny get fucking shot, like, point blank. Like, they just fucking execute him right there. You're like, oh, shit. And, like, what I thought was kind of interesting was, like, how everybody kind of runs by him. Like, Javier, Dutch, Micah, they all kind of just run past him. But Arthur kind of runs, and he kind of stops and takes, like, a knee real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, like, thinking, like, maybe he's still alive. Maybe I could just take him with me and, survive. But, like, it's like, no, this motherfucker's dead. But it's just sad, man, because I was like, no, not Lenny. First Hosea and then Lenny. Oh, man, I felt bad. Oh, that was a fucked up mission, dude. And then you end up, like, running through town, and you get away. But was this the mission? You get away, right? And then, or is this? I don't know if this is before or after this, but I know you do a mission where Bronte gives you a tip to go rob the trolley station.
Yeah, the trolley station, the trolley mission. Yeah.
Is this before or after that?
I think that's after, because after the trolley is when
you take off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then after this mission, you end up doing more missions or whatever, and then you go talk to Bronte, and Bronte has a mission for you, or a big score for Dutch to get to Tahiti. Because Dutch needs the gold or the money to get to Tahiti or whatever to grow some mangoes. That's what he says.
And everyone's like, "Where's Tahiti at? I don't know.
Somewhere near Cuba. We don't know. We're going to Tahiti, boys, or Australia." It's funny how he says like two spots that are like completely apart from each other on the map.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to Tahiti, or we're going to Australia. It's like, really, Dutch? You think we're gonna make it all the way to fucking Australia? Dude, we're probably gonna
And how
die.
are they gonna know when they get there that's Tahiti or Australia?
But anyways, Bronte gives you a mission, and he's like, all right, I need you to go rob this trolley station. I know the safe has tons of money. So much money, you're going to have enough money to get anywhere. Tahiti, Australia, Mexico, anywhere you want to go, you can go with this money because there's so much of it in there. And I know that every Sunday or whatever, that's when they have the most money in there. So, like, you and Dutch and Micah and all of them get together, and you go down to the trolley station. You end up kicking the doors in. You end up holding up the clerk, And Dutch is kind of like rushing you, right? He's like, come on, Arthur, open up the safe, because it's the middle of the fucking day.
Yeah.
And you're in the middle of town, so everybody's watching you do this. And then you open the fucking safe, and you quickly realize, like, dude, there's like $2 in here. What the fuck, Dutch? And Dutch is like, what? No way. Like, there should be way more in there. You sure you opened the right one? And Arthur's like, yeah, dude, this is the only safe in here. What the fuck are you talking about? There's no money in this fucking thing. And that's when, like, all the police just show up, dude. Like, tons of them show up.
Yeah.
And they start chasing you through town. And you end up getting on the little train, right?
Yeah, the trolley.
Yeah.
Yep. And you ride the train to town.
You can't control it, right?
Yeah,
oh, shit.
You break the handle off. Arthur's like, oh, we can't stop, Dutch. The train crashes or whatever. You end up running to the boats, right? You end up running towards the docks.
Yep.
And then that's when you end up on a boat, actually. You and Dutch and all of them end up on a boat. But before all this, you did tons of missions in St. Denis. You did the one where you go gambling.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you rob the boat or whatever with Trey Lonnie. Trey Lonnie helps you rob the boat or whatever. That's where you have to dress up really nice, too. You have to, like, have a nice suit, your haircut.
That was the only time I shaved in the game.
Yeah, you got to be, like, really nice dressed or whatever. And like, oh, come in, sir. And then that was really dumb how they, I thought they should have done that better where the poker, where, like, they should have done it where, like, you almost get caught or whatever, you almost get caught cheating or whatever. Like,
yeah.
It's really easy to just pass. It's not hard. You just do you literally play like the first time you just fold, the second time you go in and you get the other dudes out because they fold, and then the last time you just go all in and you win. That's it. 3 hands. That's all you play.
Yeah. Well, I guess that was kind of easy. I mean, and then there was no like, there wasn't any times where, or was there a time where you couldn't see Strauss?
No, not really. No, it's Trey Lonnie. No, there's no times. No, there's no times when you can't see him. Like
you see him the whole time.
Yeah, I was expecting like something where like a waiter was gonna go and stand in front of him, and you got a hand and you don't know what the fuck to do or whatever. Yeah.
Like, okay, maybe that's what I was thinking too. No? I know one of the achievements or like one of the like mission objectives you could do is not take any hints from Trelawney when you're playing poker to get like the gold on the mission, but
how do you not do that? It's really hard to not look at him. He's like sitting right there.
No, I think you can kind of like look over at him or something.
Maybe.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, that was kind of easy, the poker part.
Then you rob the boat, right? you kill the dude on the top. You're in the boat, and then you take off. But then you do rob the trolley. You take off on the boat to Tahiti, because that's where Dutch tells you you're going. We're going to Tahiti, Arthur.
What about the rest of them?
And Arthur's like, what the fuck, you dude? What the fuck? What about all the people back at camp? What the fuck are you talking about? And Dutch is like, don't worry.
Storm.
Yeah.
And they crash on Guarma.
Yeah, that storm part was crazy where like you're in the boat and you get trapped behind the fucking crates. And, oh, fuck, is Arthur going to die here? But no, you end up in Guarma or whatever, and I was like, holy shit, dude. When that happened, I was like, where am I? Arthur's all beat up. He can't walk. He can barely stand, and you have to like walk to the beach like a really long time, walk along the beach.
Yeah.
And then you find Dutch and them hanging out. And you get taken prisoner by the Guarma military or police or whatever the fuck they are.
Yeah, the militia that's there.
Yeah. After that, you end up escaping. Javier gets left behind because he gets shot in the leg. I mean, I don't think you ever see Javier ever again. That's Javier's end of the story for him.
Because you have to leave him behind.
Yeah, because Javier
you're carrying him when you're in the chains.
Yeah, because you're carrying him when you're in the chains. He ends up getting shot in the leg, and he's like, just run. I'll be fine. Just go, guys. You know what I mean? And you guys end up taking off.
Yeah, that's right, huh?
And that's the end of
And you meet up with that, like, pirate dude. Or the mercenary guy.
Yeah, the mercenary. And then, well, okay, so when this happened, I know that there's two ways this can play out. So you can go to that little, when you're, you have to, escape Guam or whatever, you have like these little stranger missions or whatever, like the little question marks. Did you guys go to the question mark that was right next to the camp, or did you go to the other one?
I did the question mark that's right next to the camp.
I did too.
I can't remember which one I did.
Because if you go to that one, you get shot in the neck with the little arrow or whatever that poisons you, that makes you knock out. But if you go to the other one, a whole different story plays out. You never see that part of the story where you end up getting knocked down and tortured or whatever. You never see that. That never happens to you. You end up going to like a whole nother mission.
Wow.
A whole nother line. And I never knew that. Because I didn't know that until like I heard somebody talk about it on a podcast or something where like they were speaking about that mission and they were saying like, yeah, I did this side, and they're like, what? That didn't happen to me. This is what happened to me. And then they kind of realized like, oh, it's because you went to that question mark and not the other one that was right there. Oh. Yeah.
Interesting.
During that whole time, you end up trying to escape from Guarma because this weird dude has the control over Guarma or whatever. He has like all the control there. And what ends up happening is, fucking, isn't it there where you end up shooting like the big cannons and all that stuff? You shoot cannons at the boats or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you end up getting like in a Mexican standoff.
Yeah.
That was fucking cool. Because you're like, oh man, do I pull the trigger? Do I not pull the trigger? Do I kick the gun over? What do I do? I ended up kicking the gun over. That's what I did. Yeah.
I think I pulled the trigger.
Damn.
Yeah, I think I pulled the trigger too.
You're fucking crazy. I just kicked the gun over and the dude shot the dude in the chest, and then that was it. We were good. But yeah, after all that happens, at some point, the Bronte mission comes up again where you and Dutch and everybody have to kill Bronte. And I think this was actually, that was actually before Guarma, right? Or was it after Guarma?
I think it was after Guarma.
Yeah, I think it was after Guarma.
Because after that mission, after you come back from Guarma, I think you do that mission where you try and get back at you try and get back at Bronte, and then as soon as you do that and you get back to your camp, then you move camps because the Pinkertons show up at your. They're like, as soon as you come back from Guarma, the Pinkertons show up, and then you have to move camps, right?
Well, yeah, because you get back from Guarma, you go to your old camp, the one that was up north, and you realize they left you a note, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. It was like a little hidden message in there.
Yeah, like, oh, dear uncle, we moved to the swamps or whatever because of whatever, like. So then you end up going to the swamps. That's where you find your camp. And isn't that where Dutch gets the plan to kill Bronte?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That sounds right, yeah.
And he ends up like getting with that black dude who lives in the bayou or whatever, who's trying to like ride his boat or whatever.
Yeah, that fucking gator.
Yeah, the gator.
The fucking gator, yeah. You have to go find the dude that's going to help him row the boat. And he's like, I need to go find my helper. Yeah, and then you're like, that whole time was fucking hilarious because Dutch and all of them, they're like, there's really no man-eating gator out here, right? And the dude's like, I think there is. Mm-hmm. And then like, they're like, all right, we got to split up. And Dutch is like, all right, I'll go with you. Arthur, you go over there. And I was like, what? What the fuck you mean I go by myself, dude? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah, I thought totally I was going to get eaten by a fucking gator walking by myself to that swamp. But that gator is huge, dude. I don't think you can kill it in that mission.
No. I shot it a bunch and it didn't die, so.
Yeah, because you only have your
revolver.
Yeah.
Your pistol.
And then, yeah, because I for sure did a full load onto him, and he was still like, kind of swam away. But
big gator, big white gator. But yeah, you get your boat, and then you go to Bronte's house with the boat. You end up fighting with Bronte and killing him, or you kidnap him, right? That's what you do.
You kidnap him, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kidnap him, and then when you kidnap him, Dutch goes fucking crazy out of nowhere. Dutch loses his shit. And Dutch drowns him, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And that's when you realize, like, Dutch is just fucking crazy. This motherfucker
he lost
no chill. This guy has no chill. He's just trying to kill people. He cares about nothing anymore. It's just about Dutch now. Like, fuck the plans, fuck anything. We're killing everyone. Yeah, he kills him, feeds him to the gators, and then what happens in the swamps after that? Not much, right?
You're not in the swamps for too long.
Yeah, you're there for like a couple missions, if that.
Yeah, I think you just take care of a couple things, and then you get out of there fairly quick.
Yeah, and then the Pinkertons show up, and then you have a huge shootout with them, right?
Right.
Because they just show up and they just start shooting. They don't care. They just like they don't even give you a warning. They just unload in your fucking camp.
Yeah, they come with that like Gatling gun, right?
Yeah, that big ass Gatling gun. You're just fucking shooting everything, and then you're like fucking freaking out, and yeah, and then I end up jumping on the Gatling gun and shooting back at them or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah. And then after this, I think this is when you realize Arthur's sick.
Yeah, you're riding through Saint Denis and he just falls off his horse.
Right. Before you leave the swamp, do you go and save John?
No, that's after he gets sick.
I think that's after he gets sick. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because John was caught after the Saint Denis bank robbery.
Right, and he's kind of like, and then everybody's kind of like, John's still in prison. We gotta go get him. Like, all right, we'll get him. Don't worry.
Yeah, and Dutch is like, I got a plan. I got a plan.
And then that's when, like you go, I don't remember when you do this though. I think you were still in the swamp. No.
When you pick him up, you're in the camp up north, where the Skinner brothers, not the Skinner brothers, the other one, the crazy people in the north. When you take out their camp and you take over the cave or whatever.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's when you get John, because Dutch gets pissed off at you. But before that is when you're riding to Saint Denis, and all of a sudden the screen starts fading, and Arthur falls off his fucking horse, and you're like, what the fuck's going on? And some dude kind of looks at you and he's like, you all right, mister? He's like,
okay.
I'm gonna get you to the doctor. And then he ends up dragging you to the doctor, and the doctor's like, well, you got TB, my friend. And then
he's like, what's that?
Yeah, tuberculosis. And Arthur's like, what? Do what now? And then he tells you pretty much you're going to die.
You don't have much longer.
Yeah, you're dead. Like,
yeah.
That's what he tells you. You're a dead man walking, dude.
Then he gives you like a shot of adrenaline, and he's like, okay, go.
Yep.
You're just walking through the streets, and like they're bare, and you see like a deer run through the streets because you're hallucinating.
Yeah. And I think you see different things based on your karma at that point.
Oh, okay.
If you have negative karma at that point, you see a wolf instead of the deer.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. If you have positive karma, you see a deer. So you see different types of animals or whatever running through those streets. And yeah, that's when you kind of start reminiscing on everything, right? You start thinking about the past, all the decisions you make, different things people told you, the things you've said, things you've done. And not even things you've done with like the main story, it's things you've done with the side quests, like things you've said to people on the side of the road, things you've done here and there. Arthur starts having these flashbacks or whatever, and he starts thinking about life because he's going to die. And so that happens. And then,
right.
And then, yeah, you end up finding that Sadie was kind of like the leader of the group, and you're back at camp at the swamps. She kind of tells you, like, look, man, I've been running this fucking thing here, like, you guys fucking left us. John is in jail. Abigail was gone. Fucking everyone's gone. Like, what the fuck? You guys just left us. There was nothing to do. We don't know what the fuck to do. We're pissed off at you guys, you fucking dicks. You guys were going to leave without us. Because that was the plan. Dutch and them were going to escape without the rest of the gang.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they were kind of pissed off at them, but whatever. Arthur's like, look, man, like, I don't know what happened. Shit went wrong back there. Bronte set us up. And all that happens, and you end up moving to the fucking north. You end up killing those dudes or whatever in that cave. And you find that one chick in the cave that's been abused by them or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
She's freaking out because you're trying to get the cage open. And she's like, no, hurt me, don't hurt me. And everybody's like, look, lady, we're not going to fucking hurt you. We're going to just help you. Yeah, she's like, no, fuck you guys. I don't trust you or whatever. And then, yeah. So you end up setting up camp there. And that's when you do more missions in the north. And, you're just up there kind of doing different missions. And you do more missions with the Native Americans, the Indian dudes, Rainfalls and Eagle Flies. And
right.
You end up doing all that stuff with them. Yeah, that's crazy, man. That whole story, there's fucking so many things in this game that happen.
Yeah.
It's hard to remember them all.
Yeah.
So many things.
It's tough, too, because a lot of it, like, a lot of the non-story missions, it's like, they kind of get specific to, like, what you do and stuff. So everybody kind of has their own story. Interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, I had lots of things happen. So anyways, we did missions in the north. And this is where...
You go get John?
Yeah, you end up going to get John in the hot air balloon.
Yeah.
So you end up going, that was really cool. I was like, man, this must have been really cool. Can you imagine, like, in 1899 or whatever, like, riding a hot air balloon? You're, like, one of the only people that's flown in the fucking world ever.
Yeah. I think that was my favorite mission.
Yeah,
is getting John.
Yeah, and you go get John, it's just you and Sadie. It's fucking crazy because Dutch is like, no, I don't want to go get John just yet. So Sadie gets a plan. She, buckles up her pants and she's like, look, motherfucker, we're going to go get John because we need to go get him. So then you end up go getting him. And, yeah, that was really cool, that whole mission when you go get him because you and Sadie, you and this one lady kidnap one guard.
Oh, yeah.
Walk him up to the gate, and you make a whole prison release this dude because of one guard. You know what I mean? Oh,
and you're telling the guard, you better hope they lock you.
Yeah. I'm just a new guy here. I don't have any clout. They're not gonna release him. And then Arthur's like, well, you better hope they do, because if not, it's your head, buddy. So and then that's a huge shootout you get in that fucking prison, man. It's hard. I died like twice there.
Yeah, it was kind of tough.
I died a lot. Yeah. You end up escaping back. You get Abigail's all happy because John's back or whatever. Then Dutch is fucking pissed. He is fucking pissed at you. He's like, what the fuck, Arthur? Like, I thought I told you that I had a plan. Now you fucking gone and ruined it. You know what I mean? You ruined the fucking plan. You and fucking Sadie ruined this shit. We had a plan. Me and Micah. He said, didn't he say me and Micah? And that's when Arthur's like, you and Micah? What do you mean you and Micah? Like, it's about you, Dutch, not you and Micah. Like, what the fuck? And Dutch is like, whatever. Me and Micah had a plan. So then, Arthur and John are like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you're listening to Micah, this fucking dude who's been with us for like 6 months? What are you doing listening to this guy? You know what I mean? Listening to us? This motherfucker over here has barely been with us, And then, after that, some more shit happens in the north. I don't remember much. Do you guys remember much that happened up there?
Well, I know you meet, I think it's Hamish, the guy you do hunting and fishing with. That's
a side mission.
His side mission was freaking awesome. I like that because he's like this veteran, and you meet him. He's like, "Hey partner, can you help me get back my leg?" And you're like, "What the hell?"
Because his horse, right? His horse took off with that.
Oh, his horse. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, his horse
can you
took
get
off
fuel
with
for me? Yeah, he bucked me off. And then so you do. I like the side missions in this chapter of the game because there's Hamish, where you do your hunting, your fishing, and a little bit more hunting, and then there's that lady you find who was like
Charlotte, I think her name was.
Her husband died, and she was kind of like sad, and she was like ready to give up on life because her and her husband came from like the big city or something, and they had everything, and then they wanted to get away, so they tried getting a cabin, and then I forget how the husband died, but it was just like, it was raining, and then Arthur just starts helping her out, like shows her like, all right, well, let's go hunt a rabbit, and then you help her get a rabbit, you fight off some wolves, and then I think you go back to her to do some like more hunting or something, and then you end up having one of your little moments where you like you get all like, hazy and you like pass out, and then you wake up in our house later, and she left a note for you or something like, oh, take this, whatever, and then I forget if you see her again after that.
Yeah, there's one time, it's just to say goodbye to her, basically. You just ride up, and she's like, thanks for teaching me how to survive out here.
Uh-huh.
And then it's like, okay, the mission's over, and you're like, well, I just rode all this way for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked Charlotte and Hamish. Those were some good side missions.
Did you meet this crazy scientist?
I did.
I think I only did one of his missions.
Yeah, you meet him in Saint Denis. He's in the little park there with the little lake, and he has like a little remote control boat or whatever.
I did that one. I never followed up with him though.
Yeah, I did.
I followed up with him, and he's up in the fucking north in the mountains. And he's like, I need you to go set these rods up for some lightning strikes. It's the middle of a storm. So you're up in these fucking mountains, climbing these fucking cliffs, setting up these rods so the lightning can hit them. And then you end up climbing up this tower while lightning's striking it. So you can fucking... I think it's so he can turn on his robot or something. And he turns on his robot. And his robot just kind of looks at you and he falls over. And he's like, well, I think I need to work on it a little bit more. Yeah. I didn't do the one after that one, though. I don't know what happened to him after that.
Actually, it's not a side mission. You just have to go back to his house one day. And when you go in, he's there on the floor dead.
Oh, fuck. Damn. So you know what kind of happened there with that stupid robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, after this, pretty much you do more missions with rainfalls in them. You end up doing a mission where you attack the Cornwall factory, refinery, or whatever, oil refinery.
Yeah.
But I thought this was really cool because you and Charles are up there, right? And this is after you did a bunch of missions with the Native Americans and that captain or whatever. You kill the army up there. You're doing all this shit. And then you end up going to attack the Cornwall fucking refinery, and fucking the Native Americans are there, tons of them, probably like 20 of them or whatever, right? Because Rainfall showed up to camp and he's telling you, look, you need to talk to Eagle Flies. He's not fucking listening to me, Arthur. You need to talk to him because he'll listen to you. He respects you. He's gonna listen to you if you talk to him. Talk some sense into him. He's gonna go attack the fucking refinery, and you're like, oh fuck, I guess. And then as soon as that happens, fucking Eagle Fly shows up with, I think it's with Micah. He shows up with Micah, and Micah has him all riled up, right? He's like, we're gonna go attack this fucking refinery. Who's with me? And Micah's like, I'm with you. And Sadie's like, what the fuck? And everybody's like, what the hell's going on here? And then fucking, what happens is fucking
Dutch is like, all right, yeah, let's go help.
Yeah. And Arthur's like, wait a minute, what the fuck we're doing, man? Like, we shouldn't be doing this. We're not gonna die. And they're like, Dutch is like, whatever, dude. We're just gonna make some noise. We're gonna make some noise. He loves making noise because he says you need to make noise because
it's gonna distract them,
distract everybody.
He's like, police will be so focused on the Native Americans, we'll be able to slip away, and one more score, and we're out of here.
Yeah, Tahiti, boys. And then you end up going out there. But when you show up, is you, Charles, on one side, and Dutch and Micah and Bill and them on the other side. But what was really cool is when you start riding down to attack, all the Native Americans, all the Indian dudes and stuff, they're all on your side with Arthur and Charles. They're all following you. They're not following Dutch. And I thought that was pretty cool how they showed that they have more loyalty to you than Dutch, because Dutch is just fucking crazy.
Yeah, I think there was like there was something where they said Dutch was like, all right, we're gonna go do this, and then so they rode off, and then you and Charles were like, no, we'll I don't know. There's some.
I think it's some decision where I think Charles is telling them to like not attack head on, but Dutch is like, no. Dutch is like, we gotta go straight in. We gotta go right now. We gotta hit him where it hurts. And Javier is like, or not Javier, but Charles is like, No, man, I'm telling you, these fucking guys have guns. We have fucking bows and arrows. We can't just go in there like this, dude. They're gonna fucking slaughter us. And then I think it's just Micah and Dutch just take off shooting. They just take off.
Yeah.
They just start shooting and taking off. And that's when everybody's like, well, I guess we have to attack now. But nobody follows them. They all follow you, kind of. And that was really cool.
And then when you're riding down that hill and the music starts playing
and everybody's behind you. And
they're
just fucking hauling ass. This is so
That was
fucking
another
cool,
screenshot-worthy moment.
Oh, so good right there. Yeah, you end up having a big shootout. And that's where you go into the room and you find the three, I don't know if they're bankers or investors or the managers of the plants or something. You end up killing them. And then as you're walking out, you get ambushed by this dude who has a knife to your neck. And he's trying to stab you. And you're kind of struggling with him or whatever. You're tapping X really fast and you're losing. Yeah. And you kind of look over and you see Dutch standing right there, like probably 5 feet away from you. And
he walks away.
Yeah, you see Dutch looking at you, and then he kind of just turns around and walks away. And you're like, what the fuck? And then Eagle Flies saves your ass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eagle Flies comes in and saves you. And then Arthur's like, what the fuck, Dutch? What the fuck did you do back there? And Dutch is like, I had a plan. I was doing this thing. I don't know what happened. You know what I mean? Like, he kind of makes up this bullshit, like...
Yeah.
Bullshit ass excuse of like he didn't have enough time or something to react. Some kind of bullshit, right? Where he just left you to die.
And that I mean, I'm sure it was for everybody, but that was like the last straw with Dutch. Like, you're not gonna take any more of his shit. Like, you know for sure like what his motives are, and that he's like crazy now. His loyalty and stuff is like all gone. Like, his family first mentality, it's like it's all out the window there. Like, that was the final straw right there.
And then after that, don't you do like a train robbery mission before you do this Cornwall shit where isn't it you and like John and then John ends up getting shot right in the arm and he falls off of the train.
Yeah, it's like you, John, Micah,
and Dutch.
And Dutch. There might have been somebody else, but I know it was them four for sure.
Yeah.
And you're kind of going car to car, like checking. And then, John gets shot. He falls off the train. And then Dutch and Micah are on horses.
Yeah.
And you're on the train still. And they're like, and you tell them like, hey, go back for John. Go get John. And then you're like, all right, I'm going to keep continuing on this train. And then they end up coming back and they're like, John didn't make it.
Yeah.
So you think John is dead. And then you keep going. I think you end up you disconnect like a lot of the train or something.
Yeah, I think what happens is you disconnect the back part of the train, but I think the before that is where you blow up the bridge or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Doesn't the train fly off the bridge or something?
It does, yeah.
Yeah. So the train flew off the bridge, you disconnected some of it, you stole something off of it. But and then Dutch and Micah, they just come back and they're like, well, John is dead, dude. He's dead as fuck. And Micah's like, yep, saw it with my own eyes, my very two eyes. He's dead as fuck, and Abigail's fucking crying, and Jack is crying. They're like, what the fuck? Ah! And you realize John isn't dead. And when does that happen?
I don't know. I forget how you find out John's still alive, because there's a little bit of time where you think John is dead.
Yeah.
And you're confused because John is in the second game. You're like, all right, I know he's not dead. But
what happened?
You're like, what the hell just happened? Like, how did he's got to be alive somewhere. And then I want to say you partner up with Sadie and you go and do something to find him, but I don't know. It's a little fuzzy.
Yeah, it's fuzzy for me too.
Yeah. You end up doing something and you end up finding him somehow. I think it is with Sadie.
Or does he just walk back into camp? I don't remember.
It might just be that. I don't honestly remember that part, to be honest.
I think he walks into camp and starts yelling at Dutch, saying, "You left me for dead."
That's right. Yeah. That sounds right. That John comes back into camp and he's
that's the end of the game.
Yeah, that's the last.
Before mission. That, isn't that before that when you get back from doing some shit? I think it's from the train mission. You find out Jack and Abigail are gone, right? Everybody in the camp is gone. Yeah. Everybody's just fucking gone. You're like, what the fuck happened to everybody? Because
Yeah.
the Pinkertons showed up, and they did something with everybody or something.
That's right.
And then Tilly comes out of like the bushes or something with Jack, and she's like, "Look, I got Jack, and I hid him with me." And they took Abigail, and then you and Bill, I think it's just you and Bill, go and get Abigail back from the city or whatever.
Yeah, you're supposed to cover
Bill, whatever.
Yeah.
At first, Bill's like, "All right, Arthur, I'll cover you," and Arthur's like, "Yeah, how about no, motherfucker?
Yeah.
How about I cover you, dude?
You're better at making a show, anyways."
And then Bill, he tells Bill that he's better at acting like a drunk. And Bill's like, yeah, I'm the best at that. Yeah, I'll go do it. Go play dead and drunk in the middle of the road. And that's when the Pinkerton meets his fate, right? When Milton meets his fate, because
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You end up going to the end of that boardwalk, and then you go kick in that door, and they have Abigail in there.
They had Abigail and somebody else, right?
Wasn't it
I feel like
Sadie?
it was Sadie. Yeah, Sadie.
It was Abigail and Sadie. They took Abigail and Sadie, and then you go in there by yourself, and you're kind of
You're like in a standoff, right? With them and Milton and them?
After you find him for a while, he gets shot, and you look, and Abigail's holding a gun.
Yeah. Abigail
so something happens to where you're like, he's about to kill you or something. And then that's when Sadie shoots him. That's right.
Abigail shot him.
Yeah.
Oh, Abigail shot him.
Yeah, Abigail blew his fucking head off. And she's standing there with the revolver kind of shaking or whatever. And you're like, oh, fuck. Calm down, Abigail. Put the gun down.
Okay.
And then after this, isn't this when Cornwall shows up to the thing and Dutch is like, all right, we're going to go talk to Cornwall. And Arthur's like, what? And we're going to go talk to him or whatever. We got a plan.
Yeah. and it's
Dutch
you, Charles, and Dutch, right? Yeah. You three go down there, and you're hiding behind the boxes on the dock
or whatever, and the boat shows up and they start unloading or whatever, and then Cornwall comes out.
No, this must have been before. This must have been before that mission, because I think Cornwall was talking to the Pinkertons.
Yeah, because he was paying them. He was the one that was paying them all the money to kill you guys or whatever.
And as soon as Milton walks away, Dutch comes out and he's like, "Hey, motherfucker."
Yeah, and then Leviticus is like, "What do you want?" And then Dutch is like, "You owe us money," and Leviticus is like, "What do I owe you? You guys are just out here committing crimes. Like, what the fuck do I owe you guys?
Yeah.
And then Dutch just shoots him. Dutch doesn't even let him offer him anything or nothing. Dutch just fucking kills him, and then
Dutch was trying to say, well, we can stop robbing you, and then you can pay us, and then everybody's happy. And then he's like, well, that doesn't make sense. I'm not going to do that. And Dutch is like, all right, bam, shoots him right there, and then you have another shootout.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy, man. And then near the end of that, after all this happens, Eric Strauss gives you a few missions to go collect some debts. And then that's when you go and you collect these debts or whatever. But this time when you do this, you have an option to just forgive people for their debts.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, your debt's forgiven. Whatever, dude. You're fine. I don't give a shit. Go home. Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You can actually give the people some money. The first lady I showed up to, she was in that town, that mining town or whatever.
Yeah.
She was like, my husband works in the mines or whatever. And then you go down there and you realize the husband is dead or something. So back to her. And then you see her kid has no shoes on and shit. And she's like, look, I don't even have fucking shoes for my kid. We don't have nothing to give you. You guys are pieces of shits. And Arthur's like, look, lady, here's some money. Take this money. Get away from here. Just run as much as you can. We'll say you paid off the debt. I'll say you paid it off, and we won't come after you ever again.
Mm-hmm.
And then she thanks you a whole bunch, and then you go meet some other dude, some other person. You could do the same thing too, just tell him the debt's absolved or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. You don't owe us anything anymore. You're cool. And that's when you get back to camp.
Wait, was that the dude with the Indian wife?
Yeah.
Yes.
The captain of the military, whatever. He defected or whatever.
Yeah.
He was a defector, and then his wife or whatever was this Indian lady or whatever. She was pregnant.
That's right.
And that's why he left the army, because obviously they're fighting against Native Americans. Why would you get a Native American pregnant? So that shit fucking I felt bad for that dude because his wagon caught on fire during the shootout.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, this is horrible. All your shit's gone, dude. Here's some money. Take it and leave. And then Strauss, you go back to camp and Strauss is sitting there. And then Arthur kind of gets pissed off, goes up to Strauss, and he starts packing his shit, and everybody's looking at Arthur like, what the fuck's Arthur doing? And Arthur just grabbing like this bag and throwing shit in it. And he like throws it at Strauss. He's like, get the fuck out of here. And Strauss is like, what? What's going on, Mr. Morgan? And Morgan's like, get the fuck out of here. You know, like, I don't want to see your fucking face around here again. I'm tired of your shit. All you do is make us, you know, go beat people and go kill people for what? For money? Like, what's the good in that? You know what I mean? Like, you fucking piece of shit. You prey on people, you know? Mm-hmm. And then kind of like nobody objects to it, you know? Like, they just kind of like let Strauss go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wonder, yeah, like, it's kind of crazy, like, how that happened. You know, he just leaves, and so Strauss is gone. Your gang is falling apart. And I think this is when Miss O'Shea shows up, right?
Oh, yeah, she's like drunk or something.
She's drunk.
And she's like, I told them everything.
Yeah, I told them. Oh, it's not Miss O'Shea. I think it's Karen. Or maybe a Miss O'Shea.
It's Miss O'Shea.
She shows up and she's like, fuck you, Dutch, you piece of shit. I told the Pinkertons.
Because that's Dutch's girl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, I told the Pinkertons where the fuck you guys were. I'm the one who snitched. I'm the one who told them about the bank in Saint Denis, all this shit. And then that's when she ends up getting shot by another person, right?
Isn't it Miss Grimshaw that shoots her?
Yeah, Miss Grimshaw shoots her with the shotgun right in the belly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she knew the rules. She knew the rules.
That's right.
Loyalty. Yeah. And then after that, all shit falls apart, dude. I mean, you know, you end up fighting the Cornwall or whatever, the refinery with the Native Americans, and then, you know, how does the Indian dude died?
No, yeah. Eagle flies?
Yeah.
He got shot.
He got shot during your, I think when you stormed the Cornwall thing, no?
I believe so.
I think because he saved you, right? But I think he was.
You.
Yeah.
I think he got shot or something.
And you have to take him back to Rains Fall so he can be with his dad while he dies.
Oh yeah.
He took him back and like he puts him down in the tent or whatever, and they have those like final words there.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, he's dead. It's pretty much you realize like everything you've done in the game, you just left the path of destruction.
Yeah.
Everywhere you've gone, every camp you went to, every time you've done something, it's just destruction and hell and craziness. Then the end of the game comes.
The last mission.
Yeah. And what happens here in the last mission with Dutch?
So the last mission is like, I think it's right after you get. So I think that the timeline goes like, I don't know if it was you and Bill that went in to meet with the Pinkertons. I think it was you and Sadie to go and rescue Abigail.
Yeah, that was the case. So you
and Sadie go in, and you're hyping for Sadie on that like water tower or something, or that lighthouse, and you're doing some sniping, and then you see her go into that warehouse where the Pinkertons were. So you make your way over there, and that's where Abigail was tied up. And then Milton has Sadie, I think, and then he's like threatening, like, all right, well, you know, he's got the gun to Sadie's head or whatever. But somehow Abigail gets free, and then she shoots Milton. So I think after that, once everybody's safe right there, you tell Abigail and Sadie to like, all right, get out of here. I'm going to go, you know, confront Dutch and like tell him that it was Micah all along that was the rat. So when you go back to camp, you start getting at it with Dutch, like, it was Micah the whole time. And that's when John comes in, and he's like, Dutch, you left me or whatever. That's when John comes back into play.
Yeah, you're right. You're fucking right. Yep.
And then that's when you and John have to, like, you know, or who comes, like, a big group of people comes.
Pinkertons.
The Pinkertons all roll up,
Yeah.
And that's when everybody kind of splits off, and it's you and John, and you're still trying to go after Dutch and Micah, and somebody else is with them. I forget, but
maybe Bill.
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's fucking crazy because fucking, I think Bill, Micah, and Dutch take off together, and then you and John are kind of running through the woods, getting shot at by the Pinkertons. And then you get to a cross point there where you and John are kind of standing at this, like, mountain edge, right? Your horse gets shot.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll be all right, girl. Thank you for everything you've done for me. You kind of look at your horse.
Like,
you think your
rip horse.
Yeah. Horse is dead as fuck.
So sad.
And then you look at John, and you give John your shit. You give him, like, your fucking bag. You give him your hat.
Uh-huh.
And you also choose whether you go and get the money that's hidden or you go and help him get to safety. At
that point, I just helped him because I was like, what's the point of me getting the money? I'm fucking dead anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I got tuberculosis, I'm dying, and if I get the money, even if I get it, what am I going to do with it? Give it to John if I could find him? Like, there's no point. I just helped him.
I did too.
Yeah, I want to know what happens if you go back for the money.
I actually watched on YouTube what happens, and if you go for the money, Micah finds you, and it's just another knife fight in a different location.
Oh, okay. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, end up making it to the top of the mountain. Big shootout is happening. You tell John to get the fuck out of there and just run. You tell him to get away and to not... You tell him to never look back, right? That's what you tell him, like, never look back.
Yeah.
Never look back. Just keep moving forward. Don't look back at this shit. Don't come back for us. You know? Just go.
Mm-hmm.
And John takes off, and then Micah finds you, and you and Micah get into a big fucking fight, right? You're just fighting each other, you know, and then Micah drops a gun, and you're crawling towards the gun, and as soon as you're about to grab the gun, you see a footstep on it.
Dutch!
Yep. Dutch steps on the gun, and I was like, you fucking piece of shit. I was so mad at Dutch at that point, dude. I'm like, you fucking piece of shit, motherfucker, you know? And then Dutch kind of like stood there for a second, and then in my playthrough, pretty much what happened was Arthur just kind of told Dutch, like, look, Dutch, look what the fuck you did, man. Like, we fell apart because of you, man. Like, it's your fault. All the shit you did, all the mayhem you've made, all these fucking plans, they were all bullshit, you know? Like, you were full of shit, and we believed you the whole fucking time. You know, and you've been losing your shit ever since Blackwater, and it's just bad. So then fucking Dutch kind of gives a little speech or whatever, you know, and then Micah's like, what? Help me, Dutch. And then Dutch is like, whatever, Micah. You know, he kind of just walks away. And fucking you and Micah fight it out a little bit more. And you don't killing Micah, right? Micah ends up killing him.
Yeah. Well,
what happens to him? How does he beat you?
Well, no, I think you kind of get it. Because he, at least in my ending, he doesn't kill me.
No.
But, I think, I don't remember if he gets away or not.
Yeah, Micah gets away.
He does get away.
Arthur just dies.
Arthur kind of, at least for mine, he kind of just like rests his head down on a rock, looks off at the sunset, looks off at the sunset, and then he dies.
Yep, that's what happened to me too.
I think there's a couple different endings you could have there.
Yeah, I think one of them Dutch shoots you, and one of them, I think another one Micah shoots you, and I think, there's different ones you can have there, or he stabs you or some shit. It's just different things that happen.
It depends on your karma, whether you were good or bad. If you get if you're like on the lower end, you either get stabbed by Micah or Dutch kills you. Damn. If you're good, then you either die up there where you see the sunset, or you die down near the caves and there's fires going on around you, and you just die there and Like, and just kind of watch you die, and they walk off.
Yeah, fucking sad. But then
Damn.
the game isn't over yet, guys. Because then you play as Mr. John Milton or Jim Milton.
Yeah, Jim Milton.
Jim Milton.
Stupid ass fucking John is so stupid. Why would you take the Pinkerton's name? You killed that bastard back there. Why would you take his name? I'm Jim Milton.
Yeah, that's weird.
You know what I mean? You end up taking his name. You're building up your life with John and Abigail and Jack. You're trying to be good people, be decent folk. You get a job as a ranch hand or whatever, and then you do the chores. You clean up the horse shit, the cattle, the pig
You build their fences.
Build lots of fences, yep. Build lots of fences. Rustle some cattle. What else?
I think that's about it. And then John decides Abigail leaves John because she's tired of...
Oh, that's right.
Well, isn't it before that where the dudes from the other ranch come over to this ranch and they start shooting people or burning the ranch down or the barn
And John
down?
ends up killing a couple people, and Abigail gets mad at him for it, and she leaves.
Because doesn't the owner of the ranch tell John, "Shoot your guns," and John's like, "What?"
Yeah.
He's like, I wasn't born yesterday.
He's like,
I know what you are.
Yeah, I know what you are, motherfucker, Mr. Jim Milton.
I don't care what you've done in your past, but right now you gotta help us out. And then John's like, yeehaw! Goes under his bed and gets his guns from the box. And that's when
Abigail's like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, I need to do this, Abigail. They need
He's like,
me.
it's my job.
And then you go on
boss told me to.
You go on a murdering spree, kill everybody in the other ranch.
Yeah, all this pent up rage of shoveling shit for the past weeks, you know.
Yeah, you end up shooting everybody, and then what happens after that? That's when Abigail left, when you went to go do the shooting shit, and then she left you. So then you end up convincing the owner of the current ranch you're in.
I hope you get a loan.
Yeah, to get a loan or whatever.
So you can buy Beecher's Hope.
Yep.
It's a rundown shack, so you can build a house there.
Yep, and then when you go to the bank, you walk out of the bank, and guess who's there? Good old Uncle. Uncle's there. Drunk ass Uncle with his Limbago or something like
that? Limbago, yeah. I got Limbago.
I'm dying, John. I got my Limbago. Like, what the fuck is that? It's a fatal disease. He's just saying he's gonna die.
And he spends all of his time at the ranch just drinking until he passes out.
Just sitting there doing nothing but bitching at you guys.
He's like, I'm helping. I'm supervising.
Isn't it you and Uncle that end up going to get Charles?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You catch wind that there's some Indian dude or whatever. Charles
fighting,
is in
right?
Bandit.
Yeah.
And he's like a street fighter right now. And you get there, and Charles is buff as fuck, man.
He's super ripped.
You're like, oh, damn, Charles.
Charles ain't fucking around. He's been out the last couple of years here. Yeah, you end up fucking getting him to come back with you, and then you end up fucking building the ranch up, right? You just build the ranch up, and that cool song plays when you're building the house.
I couldn't hit those
hammering
nails.
all the nails.
You gotta hammer the nails.
I couldn't hit them on point to save the life of me, dude. It was like, at the end, it was like, you hit 4 out of 81 on note. And I was like, damn I did bad.
Damn, that's horrible. Yeah, you end up building your little house with the song playing. That was a really fun song. And then, doesn't Uncle end up getting kidnapped by the Skinner brothers?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, and then you rescue Uncle from those guys, and Uncle, dude,
almost dead.
When you get there, man, and you see him being cooked on that fucking fire, that's so gnarly,
his back's
dude.
all red.
Ugh.
Yeah,
man, that's bad. That's nasty, dude. Oh my god, some nasty shit that you see there.
Then a little after that, Abigail and Jack come back.
Yep, they come back.
Once you have a house.
Once you have a house, yeah. And then the dude sends this furniture over, right?
Yeah.
Dude sends you furniture. And then you start doing missions with Sadie. She's a bounty hunter now, just being a badass. You meet up with her. She finds out you have a ranch, and she kind of finds you, I think, and then you end up doing missions with her. And you do a few bounty missions with her where you're going out there and just looking for people, and then you run into a fucking bear again.
Yeah.
Fucking bear attacks the shit out of you and Sadie.
After he actually says like, "Are you all right?" And Joel's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Really? You're all right?" After the bear bit you and scratched you and everything.
Bear just fucked you up. He would have killed you. But then, it's just wild. That whole thing is fucking crazy. But yeah, then after that, you find Wind where Dutch is hiding.
But before that, though, you propose to Abigail.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. You take the picture and then you propose to her, and then all that happens.
You do all that fun stuff, like you go to the theater and get your picture taken.
Get your haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that fun shit.
And you're out. You go out on the boat, and then
John can't swim.
You're out on. You just take some boat. They're like, oh well, I don't think they'll miss it for too long.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then after all that, you find out where Dutch is. You and Sadie, you kind of get him tips. You end up going up there to ride. You ride out to go find him. He's up in this fucking mountain in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a
Charles
gang.
gets shot.
They have a gang up there.
Yeah, Charles gets shot when you first start going up.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you're going up the hill, like, you just keep losing people. It's like Charles gets shot, like, pretty early on. He's like, oh, you got to go on. Go on without me. So it's like you and Sadie. And then Sadie gets stabbed or something in the stomach.
Yeah.
And she's like, go on without me. And you're like, oh, shit. So you're just going up there. You're fighting so many people trying to just find Micah. And then you get there, and what do you know? Micah and Dutch.
Yeah.
And Sadie makes her way up there and tries to kill Micah, but he captures her and has her at gunpoint.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Dutch comes out there and he's talking to you guys. Fucking Dutch. And then, Arthur's sitting there John's sitting there talking to Dutch like, look, Dutch, we loved you, man. We cared about you. You were like our fucking father or whatever. You were our brother.
Uh-huh.
And then, for me, Dutch ended up shooting Micah in the chest or in the face or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the chest.
Yeah. He let go of
And then
Sadie.
you get a chance. You automatically go into Deadeye so you can shoot him several times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wanted to shoot Dutch.
Yeah.
Dutch gets away. He just walks away. And then you get all your money back. Well, the money from Blackwater, I guess. Or
Did you know how much you were gonna get?
no, I had no idea that you were gonna get that.
Me
much money.
either.
That's
like,
a lot of money.
Yeah.
You get, what was it, like 22 grand or something?
Yeah,
like 20 grand or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because once you play as John, you have lost all your money that you had as Arthur. Like, all that shit's gone, dude.
Uh-huh.
So, that's kind of shitty, but you get $20,000 after the end of 2 epilogues or whatever, 2 stories.
And then you're like, well, what the fuck do I do with all this money now?
Yeah, and then, pretty much that's the end of the game. And then once you get to the end of the game, you're like, what do I do with all this money?
Yeah. So, did you watch the credits or no?
Yeah, I did, and I liked how they kind of showed, like, what kind of happened to the rest of the gang. Like, they show, who is it? They show, isn't it Bill? Or is it Bill or somebody else who has, like, a store now? Like a general.
No, Pearson. Pearson had the store, right? That was the camp cook.
Yeah, he has a store now. He's just chilling.
Uh-huh.
He has a picture of the gang up on the wall.
Yeah.
And then they show, like, Tilly got married to this dude. He's wearing, like, a nice suit and shit. She has a kid now.
Yeah.
And then they showed, who else did they show?
Well, they show, like, the agents. They're, like, asking around everywhere. The agents are going and talking to everybody. They're just, like, they're looking for, anything that they can find.
Probably looking for Dutch still, yeah.
Yeah, they're looking for, because Dutch walks away at the end of this.
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably still looking for Dutch. It's probably what they're running around looking around, which is probably how they got the information about John.
Yeah.
And that's how they show up in the first Red Dead, telling him, hey, you need to do this for us or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Show that. They show Arthur Morgan's grave.
And what's her face? Mary? How Mary goes back to it or whatever?
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
And then you see it's showing what's his face? John, and he's showing his ranch and like how he shows or it shows Charles leaving.
Yeah.
And then it shows Sadie leaving on her own.
Yep.
And then Uncle, he's just like hanging around till the very end still.
Yeah, Uncle's chilling. Uncle's in the first game too. He's in Red Dead Redemption, so he chills around. Fucking Uncle, lazy bastard.
He's like, I got the lumbago. I can't do anything else.
Come on, die. Come on, die, John. What do you want me to do? He's a funny dude. But man, this game, I just want to say it did such a cool thing with the story. It was a really interesting story. I liked it a whole bunch, man. I couldn't stop playing this fucking game. Like I said, there were so many side things that could happen at any given moment. I didn't even mention the circus guy that I ran into where you had to go find his zebra and his giraffe or whatever and all this shit.
And he wanted to be called Martha.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah, there's that. And then, just tons of side things that could have happened in the game, and there's really nothing to do in the south of the map. Once you unlock it, it's just kind of there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a weird thing, because you unlock the whole map once you're done with it. And the map originally is big, but then it gets so much bigger once you're John. And you're like, oh, maybe I'll go out to this desert area. But you go out there and there's really nothing to do there.
No.
At all.
There's nothing.
There's not even missions there, nothing. It's just there to be there, I guess. It's probably there for the online, to be honest.
Yeah.
Probably.
But yeah, I mean, the game, it's an incredible game. I had a lot of fun with it. I liked a lot of the game from the beginning to the end. I thought the characters were well written. It showed a lot of progression with the character of Arthur, how he kind of realized, like, man, we're not good. Because he would always say, like, I'm not a good person. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Every time someone, like, said, like, thank you, sir, you're such a nice person, you're a good man.
I'm not a good person.
Yeah, I'm not a good man. I kill people. You know, he would always remind people that he's not a good person. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a good man. Don't say that. But I mean, they did with that story. It was super well done. I had a lot of fun with that, and it's definitely one of the best games I've ever played, and it definitely lived up to the hype compared to Red Dead Redemption. Because I loved the first one, dude. I fucking loved the story. I love the game, the story. The online was okay. I just love the story, though. The story was so well done. And in this one, the story is really well done. I can't wait to see what they do with the next one. And I wonder if they'll go even more back to show, like, Maybe in the next game they'll go back before the Blackwater heist to show how the gang got to that job and what happened in Blackwater. You know what I mean?
That'd be cool.
Because nothing. They never ever tell you like exactly what went down in Blackwater.
No.
They mention that like who do they mention died? They mentioned that some lady named, isn't it Jessica or something like that?
Yeah.
Some of them mentioned she died, and they mentioned somebody else died or something.
Yeah. Name is like Jesse Kirk or something, or Josie Kirk, or something like that.
She died, and this other dude died, or these other brothers died, or something. And then they mentioned a bunch of people died in Blackwater because of whatever went wrong. But it'd be cool to see maybe the gang before all that, and those characters, and like Sean, and seeing all of them back, and seeing the story of like Arthur and John before Micah showed up. Like maybe it'll show how they found Micah and how Micah joined the gang and all that shit. You know what I mean?
Damn.
It'd be cool. Could they really go more forward? I mean,
they could do Jack, but he's a piece of shit.
But by the time they would do Jack, like the Wild West isn't really the Wild West at that point.
Yeah, because it was already dying out.
Yeah. Even in this game, it was dying out. In the first Red Dead Redemption, it was dying out. Mm-hmm. And this one is dying out too, you know what I mean? So
yeah. That's a good point.
What could they do there? I don't know. Maybe they'll just start a whole new story with some new characters.
Maybe we'll just have Jack reading books.
Oh, or writing them.
Or writing books.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows?
Man.
Anyways, I don't know. What were your thoughts on the game, man?
Overall, it was very good. It was real good. I know I was like the first one of my friends to like beat it really. And I know I was like confiding in you, Jesus, because I was like, I need to talk to somebody about this. I need to spill my feelings. I can't keep them inside.
That's how I felt the whole time playing it too, man. Because I was like, I want to talk about this so bad with people, man. It's so good. Like, just all the dumb little side shit I would run into. Like, I found the little hut where the UFO shows up, and I found all this other shit, you know, like hidden stuff around the map. So fucking cool.
Yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it, and it was quite a good run. Yeah, one of the best games I've ever played for sure.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Alyssa?
I really liked it. I liked the story. I liked the voice acting, the soundtrack. Everything was perfectly put together. I have issue with some things, like little issues, like the collision detection with the people and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obvious flaws, but I mean, otherwise it's a really solid game, one of the best of 2018.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. They gotta work on that fucking horse tech, man. That fucking horse.
Yeah.
I think it would trip over the tiniest rock. It could jump a fence just fine.
Yeah.
Come to a little rock. Fucking horse would jump, fucking tip over the rock and fucking fall over and
just launch you.
Yep.
Yeah.
You go flying 10 feet.
Oh, another reason I hated Saint Denis. I just bought this gold horse. It was like one of the most expensive ones. It was like, $1,000 or whatever. And I got off of it to do a mission. But I got off of it and it was just like, it was on the trolley track and it got hit and died. The first day I got it. And I was so upset. I was so angry. And that's why I hate Saint Denis so much.
Damn.
Heartbroken. Just like all my money and I couldn't do anything about it. I was like, fuck.
Yeah. There's so many side quests that I did, so many little side things. Like, for example, in Saint Denis, I helped a dude with the stupid rats inside his bar.
Oh, yeah.
I got them rats in my bar. You go in there with your revolver, just shoot the rats in the ground.
Yeah.
Tons of them everywhere. It's fucking crazy, man. Like, just dumb shit like that was super well done. I shot the mayor in Strawberry.
I never did the mayor. In Strawberry?
Yeah,
or Saint Denis?
No, I shot him.
Huh.
No, in Saint Denis, there's a side quest for the mayor. I never did that one either.
No, because you have to go back at night, and I just never went around to going back there at night. Oh, but I remember the mayor there. He's like, "Welcome to Strawberry, everybody."
Yeah. I was in there as John, actually. I was hanging out in Strawberry, and he's like, "I'm the mayor, and I make the rules around here. I control all you people." Like, I was saying all this shit, right? And then I walked out to him because he was sitting, like, in the porch of the hotel. And I just, like, I was seeing he was sitting there, like, he was just sitting there talking to these two people, like, yeah, I'm the mayor, all this. And I just pulled out my revolver and shot in the face, like, 6 times. And I took off running, like, everybody in the town was coming after me. I was like, fuck this guy, I'm tired of his shit. Some other cool things that happen in the game is, like, if you, for example, like, if you rob a store and then you go back there, the guy's like, I remember what you did last time. The whole thing I forgot. I'm watching you. You know, like, or if you shoot, like, the shopkeeper in the arm and you come back, like, a couple days later or something, he'll be in there, but he'll have, like, his arm wrapped up, like, in a bandage, like, in a sling.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Different things like that are, like, little touches in the game are really cool.
Yeah. Whole lot of detail in the game. Whole lot of detail.
Yeah. Man, so good. So damn good. Play Red Dead Redemption 2, people. Buy it. Just buy it. Tell your friends about it. Everybody.
I think you're preaching to the wrong crowd, because if they listen to this podcast without playing it.
Yeah, they've definitely bought it. Yeah, and if you listen to this without playing the game, well, sorry, we just really...
No, not sorry. Not sorry at all.
Well, okay.
Well, they knew ahead of time we were going to spoil it, so...
Fair warning. We've held back for what? almost 2 months.
We did, yeah. I mean, I wanted to record this like really after I finished the story, dude, which is like a month and a half ago now. So, yeah, I really wanted to do this a long time ago, but I just been waiting and waiting and waiting. So today was a good day to record it. Yeah, hashtag not sorry, I guess.
Hashtag not sorry.
But yeah. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, you can listen to the Horrible Gamers podcast on this feed. Of course, you know what to do. And our Game of the Year show will be recorded here shortly. So we're going to do that. And you're going to listen to this probably after that. So there's that. And yeah. Anyways, we're done. We're out of here. Peace out, people. You can find me on Xbox Live, Gamertag, Jesus Walks Live. I'll be playing lots of games on the PSN network. Or it's not the PSN network, it's PSN. You can find me as GSUS Walks a Lot. That's the letter G, SUS, Walks a Lot. And on Twitter, at Jesus Walks a Lot. On Facebook, I'm the Horrible Gamers Podcast community. A close group you can join that's part of the community. And that's it. Where can we find you, Evan?
You can find me on Xbox Live as A1ThickSauce69. You can find me on PlayStation as Shirt Pockets, and on the PC Master Race as Reppin' Evan, and on Discord and Facebook community page as well. So, good stuff. What about you, Alyssa? Where are you at?
On Xbox, I'm Lissarie88, LYSSARIE88, and on PlayStation, I'm Lissarie, LYSSARIE. On Twitter, it's at Lissarie, Instagram at It's Alyssa White, and I also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/UnchartedGirl88. So you can find me on all those places.
All right.
Awesome. Peace out, Brussels sprouts. We'll see you on the next edition of the Horrible Gamers podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I know we missed a lot of things about Red Dead. This is not like a complete fucking retelling of the story because it's impossible to do that. But, you know, we covered the main topics, I think.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Bye, people. See you next week.
Bye.
Peace.